I'm going to be like my mom. No, your life is wrong. You remember it wrong.
All right, Ricky, knock that shit off.
Shut up. Do you know how pissed off I am that I couldn't use my f***ing grill this whole time? Like, oh no, I got an electric grill.
Where's the battery? He said he sunk a 20-foot putt and said, unlike that other guy, I don't miss.
Fucking miss.
We checked on each other once, I think.
Yeah, well, I think we checked on each other on Wednesday. Well, there was one time you said, we got power at the farm. It's like, good. It's like I'm still fucked, but thanks for letting me know. So he just went ahead and refilled his Gatorade bottle with wine. I was like, this is how this podcast goes.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.
There you go.
Which, oh my god, I'm gonna have to fucking I'm gonna have to move so much shit from this last episode. So episode 100, guys, welcome back to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast. Might as well just start. This is episode 101, and we're not drinking 101 today.
How did we miss that?
Because we're both exhausted.
You're exhausted. I'm just exasperated.
Well, you're pretty exasperated too.
Yeah, not exacerbated, exasperated.
Exasperated. Jazasperated.
Or grumpy.
Whatever. You're grumpy. You're Jeff mode.
Grounded and grumpy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm sitting here like, I have to adjust everything. No, I just have Facebook open. That's the problem. I'll just un-Facebookify it. So either way, guys, welcome back. Oh my God. The past fucking week has been insane. Aren't we glad we fucking recorded episode 100 when we did?
We did right, man. We would have been recording that
trying to record during a hurricane without any ability to talk to anyone else. Because, I mean, I guess this takes batteries. Yeah. So if I had batteries, I could just record.
Oh, we could have rocked it.
But it
would have just been the three of us.
It would have been so much. I doubt Will would have made it during the hurricane.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, guys, episode 100 was recorded Saturday the 6th. If you watch the vlog on the Patreon, you'll see everything about that. And then,
we had a good time.
And then, literally 2 days later, Hurricane Beryl literally barreled her way through fucking Texas, doing so much damage that even now, a week later,
8 days later. No, that's a solid week now.
We're a solid week later. Tomorrow will be 8 days. They're still cleaning it up. In fact, my parents don't have power, but as you can see here in the SHOKY cave, we got power after 2.5 days, which was pretty fucking miserable in its own right. And luckily, we only lost a hair bit of food, and most of that was the food from episode 100.
Oh, we didn't lose hardly anything. It was generators kicked on at the farm.
Oh yeah, that must be nice.
I stayed at the Conroe apartment my father-in-law keeps.
Yeah, you were down the road.
But mainly so I wouldn't get flooded in. The dirt road we have to travel on, there's a huge valley, and sometimes it's 10, 15 feet deep.
Even despite the rain, there was like flash flooding, and then it was gone.
Yeah,
it's like it never happened. If it wasn't for all the trees down across the lower southeast part of the state. Hey, someone forgot to mute his phone.
That's for once it's not me.
I forgot to mute. That's all it was.
But I guess I got to the apartment Monday morning, passed out, and woke up to no power. Yeah. About 2:00 in the afternoon.
What day?
Monday.
Okay, yeah. So you lost power when we lost power.
Yeah, but
no, that's not true. We lost power.
But it stayed in the low 70s for a couple days, and actually helped mitigate a lot of the heat.
Not overall, but yes, at night.
At least in the apartment,
it was that cool.
It didn't get uncomfortable until about 10:30.
Well, you were on the second floor, so you were saying it's on the first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you were much better off than we were because we were dealing with heat from the roof.
I bet it was hot up here.
I think it actually got up to about 92.
Oh wow!
I think
it stayed comfortable.
Like it got unbearable. I was using our fan to get through.
Of course, I did nothing but sleep. I woke up, got something to eat. Yeah, vaped something to make me sleep, and enjoyed.
Yeah, so we lost power at like 9:40 in the morning. That sucked.
Yeah.
So that's when the storm came through, around about 10 o'clock.
Okay, I was snoozing hard.
Yeah, so power was out. So either way, we should probably do intros because we just jumped right into the hurricane story. So either way,
we have stuff to say.
Either way, so guys, of course, I forgot to fix this button right here. There we go, fix that. Guys, I, of course, am Shoky, and then with me today, as usual, is El Jefe.
Hey, guys.
Jeff. And, of course, if you want to follow the podcast, you can do so at this channel right here. Hit that subscribe button. I almost forgot the fuck I was saying. Hold on, I gotta find the right button. Nope.
One of these days you're gonna write everything down.
Oh, I did a thing that I forgot to do. Hold on. I attributed that button. Let me fix this. Pause. All right, guys. So, yes, fix the thingy finally. Well, hopefully, buttons seem to work. But subscribe here to the YouTube or over on the Rumble channel. It's roughly the same name. Just go over there and hit Now You Made It Awkward podcast over there on the Rumbles. We're getting more and more views over there, but there are YouTube exclusives sometimes. So YouTube exclusives here. Speaking of exclusive, you can go ahead and help support the Patreon by checking out the Shoky Reviews Patreon. It'll swoosh here on the screen. That is a little for $5 a month to get the full uncut version of this podcast. Though episode 100 was totally all open for video because that just made it more fun. But that was kind of like the teaser to get people to join in and watch the full uncut version of it.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yes, it was. It was a fucking long night. We'll talk about it. All right, and then, of course, if you want to write into the show with questions, comments, or other long diatribes about certain events that happened this past weekend and your thoughts on it, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. Once again, swooshy here on the screen, and then in the description down below. But then the part that Heffy absolutely wants to say.
You can also follow us on our Facebook page, Now You Made It Awkward Podcast. You can send emails to our Facebook. You can also send messages. Right next to the email icon is a drop-down menu. Select message, and you can either write to us or hit the microphone icon and send us a voicemail like our buddy Sean does.
Yes, so Sean did send in a message because I did just hit him up for it. So, yeah. It's like I literally solicited for the messages. So, guys, of course, you can always do that if you want to help contribute to the show. Just get your opinion voiced or anything else like that. Actually, after Sean's thing, I will read some comments that came up this past week. So, and we always do that. We can read comments and things like that. So, 30-second email here. So, let's see what the hell happened. And Sean's had a hell of a week, too.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get into it all, but it's been...
We could have caught up with him last week, but he had technical...
He didn't feel like joining us properly, you know? So, yeah, fuck you, Sean. Like, you didn't... I don't care if you had technical problems. You were invited to be here and in person. You missed a lot of good food, a lot of good fun, and could have slept on the couch. Either way, message.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. It's fucking hot, busting ass. Hey, question for the pod. So after this weekend's events, and I'm not asking specifically about that, my question is, what in our lifetimes, because we're all about the same age, what is the craziest thing you ever saw happen? You know, like the Challenger blowing up, or fucking president attempted assassination, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's the craziest thing you remember in your lifetime that you saw? You know, 9/11, who all watched the planes flying to the towers and shit. What's the craziest thing y'all have seen in your lifetime to date?
So
crazy.
I mean, he basically like already said it. Also, thanks to Sean, previous co-host.
He's talking about world events, not personal, right?
Yes, he's talking about world events.
Okay.
Things that you have been around for. By the way, I'm now realizing how much my face is burned because the alcohol is making my face go a little hotter than
you are a little red.
I am definitely red. No, that's not just the camera, guys. I am pretty red. No, because I remember the Challenger exploding. Because I remember something landing in our yard that I had no idea what the fuck it was. Now, the Challenger didn't lift off from Houston, so we didn't... Mm-hmm. There's no... Unless it was going across Texas when it exploded, which I don't know if it did or did not. But I remember finding a weird chunk of something out in the yard that had, like, some insulation and some other stuff. It might have just been some trailer exploded nearby, for all I know. And that just landed in our yard. But randomly, like, seemingly after the Challenger exploded, something landed in our yard. I was in school. And you know what's funny? We made this joke. During episode 100.
That was what?
We need
80?
to do.
What year was that?
I mean,
that was 84.
The magic answer box knows. Google knows. I'm not sure, but the 1986. Oh wait, never mind. Then that wasn't that. It was there was something else that.
Yeah, I was 2.
Yeah, so something else exploded. I thought in the 90s.
There's another one that came apart upon re-entry, and went over the Houston area. There are people.
You know what? That might be what.
There are people all over Houston that have collected debris from that. A lot of it,
that's
right.
That's right.
Windshields or portholes, huge chunks of bluish glass.
The heat stuff failed.
Yeah,
that's right. I remember. That's where that was the debris I was talking about.
I believe.
You know what's funny? We threw that away without ever bothering.
I believe
to check.
my in-laws still have a chunk of glass that was supposedly from the thick windshields.
The like
on
9
the Challenger.
inch thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no.
But because of the heat, it turned blue.
Yeah, it was basically heat tempered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was that other shuttle thing. That's when they canceled the shuttle program, right?
No.
No, not the Challenger. The one that I'm talking about. The one where it blew up on reentry. I think that's where they canceled the shuttle program finally. But 9/11. I mean, up until this weekend, it was definitely 9/11. Where were you? Do you know? Do you know? Were you in
when the world stopped turning?
Where were you when the world stopped turning?
Literally, yeah. I try not to fucking say it because it's hard not to.
I was.
Were you in basic yet or no?
Oh hell no! I was still in high school. I think it was 10th grade.
Okay.
I was in health class that morning.
I was in my freshman semester, so you would have been at least a junior.
Yeah, I was a sophomore.
But you're only 2 years younger than me, right?
Yeah, but I was born in November.
Oh, you're a weird fuck.
So I was one of the older ones in the class.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that means that you should have been.
But anyway, 10th grade.
Still should have been 11th, but yes.
I never failed, damn it. 10th grade. Stop arguing with me.
You're only 2 years behind me. You would have been in 11th.
No.
Yes, because they would have been.
Fucker, I was there.
Because if you were 1 year behind me, you would have been a senior. 2 years behind me, you'd be a junior.
And I graduated early.
What? I'm saying you're saying sophomore, and I'm saying it was later than that.
But no, it was sophomore.
Whatever. I think you're wrong. I'm going to be like my mom. No, your life is wrong. You remember it wrong.
All right, Ricky, knock that shit off.
Shut up. Either way, they.
But anyway, I was in health class.
Oh, you were in health.
Yeah,
class?
they put it up on the TVs, and as a stupid kid, you really didn't comprehend. You understood what was going on, but you didn't understand the magnitude and how much it would have impacted the rest of the country, let alone the world.
Well, I mean, nobody expected the impact on the world, if we're going to be honest.
Well, there were lots of impacts after that around the world.
Well, in one specific spot. There was a lot of impacts in one very specific area.
You were thinking of the Space Shuttle Columbia in 2003.
Columbia, that was 2003. That was the one that, no joke, I think
I was a junior.
In 2003? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No, hold on. You would not have been a junior in 2003.
Actually,
You'd have been
no,
a senior.
I graduated the December of 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, you still should have been fucking junior. Either way. So, I was in my art class, and somehow, I don't even know, because mind you, this is the days before cell phones. Technically 13th grade. I was in my freshman year of college at good old Kingwood College. And they dismissed us from class, but didn't say we needed to go home. They said something had happened.
So they weren't as forthright with everybody as they were at least at our high school.
They didn't know what was going on yet.
Oh.
They heard that something happened in New York, and like the teacher had a radio going. Like, you got to remember, this was before cell phones really took off. I mean, yes, there were cell phones.
We
but
had
there wasn't
the Kyocera sliders and the Nokia brick.
Motorola phones and shit like that.
And
Nokia
then the Razor.
Razor was not out quite yet, but coming.
Yep. Never had one of those.
No, I had the Katana because I had a Sprint phone. Razor was on the other side. Either way. So we were in art class. She dismissed us. So we went to the student hall where the pool tables and everything were, the cafeteria. And everybody was either playing pool or just hanging out. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. And then somebody pulled up the news on TV. And so we saw Tower 1, smoking. And then we watched the second plane happen. And we're like, what the fuck is happening?
But that event did influence my decision to join the military.
Yeah, and it let me know I made the right decision to not.
Yeah.
It's because I was pushed towards joining because my dad was an Army guy, and never saw combat or anything. He worked on
was,
he worked on the Nike missile project.
Yeah, that was my dad, peacetime Marine.
Yeah, my dad was working on Nike missiles, which those were not used in peacetime. Those were
just do it.
Those were used extensively in the wars in between. And I never really talked to my dad much about his service time. Realistically, he was just in the desert shooting off missiles.
Yeah, exactly. As a peacetime service,
let me specify our deserts, our deserts shooting missiles.
You know, as a peacetime service member, there's not a whole lot to talk about other than training and garrison duty.
My beer got warm.
You know, that was my dad's deal. He got bored, so he trained for all different stuff. He went through sniper school, and he wound up being a captain over a howitzer battalion, artillery.
Yeah,
and they trained in Alaska, cold weather survival, mountain survival. They were all over the place, and they never deployed. He always laments he was too young for the first war and too old for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I think my grandpa served, my dad's dad, so he would have been tail end of one. It's probably too young for two. Given, I don't know. I mean, so many 16-year-olds were signing up for World War II. So right. I mean, there is what it is. But then, I don't know enough about that service or anything else like that. My dad only briefly talked about his stuff he did. But I mean, we went home. Like, everybody was dismissed. They literally came over. I didn't even know we had a fucking PA there. And they told everybody to fucking leave. Like, go home, be safe. Because one thing was, they didn't know what else was coming, so they
wanted to...
Well, there was two options. Keep everyone in one place safe because they don't know what else is going to be hit, or send everybody home.
Like any public entity, they wanted to limit liability.
Yes.
Get the hell out.
But which way do you limit the liability? Keep people there where you know they're safe, or let them go home where you have no clue what's going to happen on the way home.
If it's not on your property, it's not your problem.
That part's true, but
that's guarantee that was their thinking.
I'm not sure, to be totally honest. I wasn't there for that. I was just around. I played pool mostly in college. I didn't care about anything else. But either way, so that's what happened there. So 9/11 was definitely the most important geopolitical, social thing that happened in my lifetime. And technically, I would say still is. However, since then, we've had the Summer of Love, followed by January 6th, followed by Donald Trump getting shot. So, I mean, all of those things are really bad and have changed our country.
Oh, yeah.
But that we have not had the impact that 9/11 had in the same way.
No.
So
9/11 was the complete opposite. It was similar to...
That united the world, not just us.
I was about to say it was similar to the Houston area and Hurricane Harvey, where everybody united. Everybody was together. And I was proud as hell to see that.
Yeah. Did you ever see the stat from Hurricane Harvey about the sheer amount of water in Houston sunk the city 2 centimeters?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like 2.2 trillion gallons of water. And it sunk the city enough that the geo satellite noticed. Like, it detected the shift, the downward shift of the city from satellite.
When was Harvey?
That was 2018.
Okay. What was the one that happened back in 07, 08?
Well, you've got Katrina and Ike were basically back to back. Katrina's what took out New Orleans. Ike was after that.
Okay, I think.
And there was another one there.
Katrina that happened while I was deployed.
Possibly.
07, 08, I think.
That's the one. That's where the levees broke in Louisiana.
Yes.
And everybody came here.
And then Houston was flooded like crazy.
Houston was flooded, but not in the same way. Because
I just remember seeing on VFN on the news we got over there.
Ike was a windstorm. Katrina was a flood storm.
Okay.
So that's the difference. Ike did what fucking Beryl did, but actually not as bad because it was a late storm, not midsummer. So even though there was no power, it was bearable.
I remember that. I was working maintenance at our county jail at the time.
Yeah, you must have been when you got back.
That was not about less than a year.
Well, I mean, after you got back.
Because I got back hyper aggressive, about to catch a case, putting hands on inmates way too quick.
Don't do that.
So I asked if I could move to maintenance. They had an opening, and I stayed there till I got my head right, and then went back to the jail.
Yeah. Because I remember that one because that was the one where I stayed home in my apartment, even though, like, like I stayed home for like a couple days, and then said, "Screw it, I'm going to my parents' house because at least I can cook there," and then went several days without a real shower because they don't have running water there; they're on a well. Came home for something. Without thinking, turned on the sink to wash my hands and the water was on. And that's the first time I ever realized, oh yeah, city water doesn't shut off. I could have been at home fucking showering and then like maybe, got a camp stove or some shit. But
we actually did proper Texas.
Actually, I had a barbecue pit. I could have done
Yeah,
something.
we did proper Texas hurricane prep for Ike.
Yeah.
I was out cooking as the storm rolled up.
Yeah.
I was watching pine trees still whipping.
Yeah.
And I still had ribs on the smoker, and I wasn't stopping until they were done.
Yeah.
And then we went inside and slept through the whole storm.
Do you know how pissed off I am that I couldn't use my fucking grill this whole time? Like, oh no, fuck, I got an electric grill.
Where's a battery?
I thought about trying to plug it into the thing, but it would not have lasted. If I get one of the 40-watt converters, that probably would work. Just it would have enough power to actually run that heating coil and shit. And I could have grilled because our downstairs neighbor, day 2, grilled everything in his house. So he pulled out the fucking plancha, he pulled out the fucking propane grill, all that, and they cooked everything in their house. And basically,
should have said something. I got a portable and a 20-pound propane tank you could have borrowed.
Yes, but then you have to get it up the stairs.
The grill's this big.
And you have to get it up the stairs. Very tired. Plus, I mean, 2 days later, we were fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we already had enough. So we ate the fucking episode 100 cake.
Nice.
For sustenance.
I munched on for snacks and small meals. I kept, every time I got a little bit of power or just eating it cold, I had the rest of the birria and the beans.
So we ate the rest of the picanha the next day.
Because you still had birria and beans left too, didn't you?
Yes. So I actually left it out for a little bit when we still didn't have power, and just went ahead and ate the bean dip ate the beans like dip, and I ate a little bit of the birria, but mostly ate the picanha because there was still like half pound of picanha left. And, oh my god, so good. Dude. That pecan, like, I know Will said it was too salty, which maybe it just didn't penetrate enough.
Well, like I said, when deer shoes and rolls go around, we're doing the same seasoning mix and we're doing jerky. Same way.
Either way. But the thing was, even cold, that fucking picanha was so good. I ate that bitch cold right out of the fucking container. I'm like, I haven't eaten since like 2 p.m. It's like 9, trying to go to bed. It's hot as fuck in here. And I'm like, pulled it out of the fridge real quick and just fucking chomping on some cold meat. And I'm like, it is still super fucking good.
Back when the power was still coming off and on, they're still working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Made a whole plate of food, was happy as could be, went back for seconds, right as I opened the microwave.
Yeah.
Power gone.
Of course. Well, I sat up and now I'm way out of frame. Ugh, my back was hurting. I had to sit up straight. So, let's go ahead and talk about this weekend. And we'll talk about last weekend.
What part of this weekend?
The very important thing that Sean's referring to. So the shooting of Donald Trump that happened.
The attempted assassination.
The attempted assassination of our front runner for president. So many fucking things coming out about it as time has gone by now, because that was Sunday, right? Yeah.
That was Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
Or just after 6 p.m.
Okay, because it was before I streamed on Saturday, so
Yes.
that's right. Okay, yeah. So Saturday, the last few days have been wonky. So Saturday, after I already had a pretty fucking stressful day at work, I get a message. Was it a message? Yes, I get a message on fucking Patreon about Donald Trump being shot. So I instantly go to Twitter, because honestly, Twitter is the fastest place to get news from anywhere. And that's all Twitter was. Sorry, X. Fuck you. By the way, I have a Twitter account. Follow me if you want.
Well, even on Twitter, it says formerly Twitter.
I still hate
formerly
it.
Twitter.
I still hate it. It's stupid. It's fucking Twitter. Just go back to being Twitter. He just wants everything under the X brand.
Of course.
Either way. So while doing a rally in Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
At a school. Basically, he was in the middle, 7 minutes into his speech, and suddenly, like, just watching a man talk, and then he turns his head slightly, and then you hear, and then he checks his ear, and then you hear the, bah,
yeah,
and then you hear, pop, 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 pop. And then he ducks instantly, and then very slowly the Secret Service pile on him.
Yeah, they really weren't on their game.
They were very much not on their game.
There was one of them that was hiding behind everybody.
So before we get into that, let's just talk about the event, and then we'll talk about the details, because the details are really fucking screwed up. So a lot of people thought he'd been shot in the head, like instantly, because he went to the ground so quickly. Everybody thought he had truly been
Yeah, he took cover.
He took cover because odds are all of that bunting up front was just solid armor. Well, that's what Dan Bongino said, and he's
really even the podium and all that armored.
Probably all armored.
That's really smart.
Yeah, because usually you would think somebody would try to get in the front row, because normally we don't have to worry about snipers. All the rooftops are covered.
They were just
except for the one with the height advantage, lots of room and complete open fucking shot directly at the president. Either way, so luckily it only grazed his ear, which I hope he didn't get it fixed. I hope he just gets it patched up and leaves a fucking wicked scar, because that is the campaign poster. Okay. This is what they tried to do to keep me from saving this country. So, and by the way, I mean, like, it's probably not a surprise that you and I are at least somewhat Trump supporters, if not directly Trump supporters.
No surprise at all.
And then they very slowly rushed him out, but not before we got two of the most badass photos in modern U.S. history. The man pumping his fist and yelling "fight" at the crowd.
Right.
And then as they're taking him down the stairs, there's an American flag above them. In the shot, he has a fist in the air and blood coming down his face. It's like...
And then the next day he plays around in golf.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
7 a.m. fucking playing golf.
And he's joking about it.
Yeah, joking about it, because he can't. He has to.
I saw I guess the caddy that was there was talking about it. He said he sunk a 20-foot putt and said, "Unlike that other guy, I
fucking miss." Well, what is the old adage? If you're gonna come for the lion, don't miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, technically he didn't miss. He just didn't 100% hit. Winged him. But
I've been laughing a lot about the fact that everyone's now ballistic experts.
Yes.
You know, speculating on what's what and why's why and why he missed, and who knows.
It didn't account for the wind, whatever. No, what he didn't account for was Trump slightly turning his head. Because have you seen that diagram?
Mm-hmm. That
shows like his head right before that, and then he turns his head, and then
right through his skimmed his cheek.
It would if he didn't turn his head the way he did, away from the crowd ever so slightly, it would have gone through his cheek and out the back of his fucking spinal.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
The spinal cord?
No, the brainstem. It would have gone out through the brainstem, probably.
Medical words, yes.
Yes. Which I should remember that, because my niece was born without one of those.
Uh-oh.
Managed to live for 18 years without most of a brainstem. Either way,
we'll circle back.
That's fine. But either way, the anti-sniper guys eventually got to do their job about 30 seconds later. Counter snipers got to do their job about 30 seconds later, because they clearly didn't do their job the first time. Because the guy was laying out in the open on a fucking white roof. He was seen by multiple people. He's on camera before he started shooting. I don't know if you saw these videos. Some people saw him and were pointing him out to the cops. Like, the fucking cops just way out there in the crowd. They're like, hey, there's a guy on the roof right there. And they have footage of him. You see him lining up the shot, and then you hear the shots.
Well, I read an eyewitness report that they told a cop was told by a civilian there's somebody on the roof with a rifle. He climbed the ladder, saw the guy,
and
suspect pointed the rifle at him, and he backed down.
Yeah, good cop there.
Yeah, right.
But here's the thing, that guy actually might have saved Trump's life, because he became a distraction to get him off zero.
Well, his heart rate, guarantee you had probably elevated and all that.
Yeah, I mean, like, but literally, probably
heart rate's elevated.
However many seconds later is when he took the shot. Yeah. So that cop, while people are giving him a lot of shit for running away in that moment, actually might have been the only reason Trump didn't get a straight headshot.
Right.
Honestly, like, they should give him a tiny bit of credit, because what do? Sniper rifle, well, a rifle pointed at your face. at close range and you're on a ladder. You're not reaching for your piece because you only got one hand
Right.
going up the ladder. So it's like if he had caught the guy off guard, maybe. But, you know,
Yeah,
frankly,
going up that ladder's not quiet. I'm
why
quite sure.
why was no one on that roof already?
They
That ladder should have been locked off.
yeah, somebody dropped the ball.
Several
big
people.
time.
So
or the conspiracy theorist may be right.
yeah, but I mean, like,
I mean,
I
who
don't
knows at
believe
this
I don't
point?
believe for a minute it was fake.
I still don't think we're going to get honest answers in the truth.
I think if the FBI is doing all the investigation, no, I don't trust them for a minute. They're the
Nope.
same ones who literally did all this stuff to him.
Yeah.
Not the shooting. I'm talking about the previous things that the FBI has been used
And it's
against the president.
more and more curious that you're not seeing a lot of it on major news coverage. The only
Well-
place I'm really seeing it on, even on Facebook, is by friends.
Yeah.
Friends posting it themselves. No major news networks are covering, other Newsmax. And
No,
sometimes
Twitter,
Fox.
Twitter. You need to get on Twitter if you're not, because everybody's on it, except everybody's writing. Well, the mainstream media bullshit is basically like CNN, MSNBC, and a bunch of the other ones were making light of it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like CNN literally put Trump leaves stage after a fall.
Oh, really?
Another one said he rushes off stage after loud noises were heard.
Well, loud noises.
Loud
were
noises, yeah. And also, by the way, let's not downplay the fact that at least one civilian was killed
Mm-hmm.
who was a fucking, I believe he was a
Firefighter.
firefighter, 50-year-old firefighter who was covering his family.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody who talks shit about that guy can go do things that I can't say on YouTube.
Go fornicate with yourself and or your mother.
And with a power drill.
Yep.
Yeah. Through the temple. Either way, so
I could say mean things smart.
well, maybe YouTube's algorithm and fucking AI shit for searching for things is getting smarter.
Yeah,
So trying to get away from certain things is hard. But either way, yeah, I mean, he's okay. I hope he doesn't get his ear fixed. I mean, patched up, obviously. But I want to see that
That's
scar.
screw it, gauge it out.
Yeah, full on gauge.
Put a bullet through it.
No, just get a metal clip right where it was.
They're small enough. Get a 5.56 projectile out of the casing.
Uh-huh.
Run that as a gauge.
That'd be so weird. Because it went through the top of his ear.
Yep.
And you could tell by the footage when he's leaving the stage and you see the blood streaks running down to his mouth that it was running down his face from his ear, because a lot of people were reporting he got shot through the cheek
That's what it looked like in some of the pictures.
because of the
but-
streaks.
yeah.
Because I guarantee you, what he did the first time was and then so it's like blood on the face,
Yeah.
and then you could see he wiped some of it and then ducked, and then it was coming down his face the way the blood trails were. So either way, first time in my lifetime that I can recall that a former president, let alone a person running for president, had an assassination
What was the
attempt.
last one? Roosevelt?
No, Reagan.
Reagan, yeah.
Reagan was shot, kept going. Roosevelt was shot and kept doing his campaign speech or debate, whatever it was. He literally was shot on stage and then continued.
See, that's the precedence I wish we could have had. Precedence of continuing the speech. I wish Trump would have continued.
Well, I think the problem is they didn't have I keep wanting to say Social Security.
Secret Service.
Secret Service back then like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he was wanting to continue.
I mean, he literally got up and said, fight.
Yeah.
And of course, he took to Truth Social as soon as he could to go and truth out something, because heaven forbid. And then Joe Biden, within, 30 minutes or 40 minutes, came out and gave some platitude bullshit speech.
Oh, I love it that you're seeing every single body who's tried to ruin that man come out and act like they're sorry and feel bad for what's happened and everything.
Yeah. No, actually, a lot of them aren't even saying that. They're still blaming him for it.
I mean, yeah.
They're saying, if he didn't have all this explosive rhetoric out there,
Oh, it's his fault someone tried to kill him.
it's his fault. Someone tried to kill him. Not the fact that literally 6 days before, Joe Biden said, we need to put Trump in the bullseye.
Oh, really?
He said that out loud
Gosh.
in a speech.
And if Trump had done that while in office, they would have crucified him.
No, they're still crucifying him. They're crucifying him even though he's a fucking victim.
Yeah.
Literally, straight up victim of an attempted assassination, and they're still crucifying him. That's fucking stupid. By the way, whatever logo I'm gonna do for the number for this episode, I'm gonna have a little chunk taken off. It's like a little bullshit. It's like just barely missed.
Off the top of the A, the Trump hair?
Yeah, exactly. Something. We'll see. Oh, that might be funny. Well, I mean, I'll modify the numbers. That's what I'll do. But either way.
Or off the end of the W?
No, I'm not going to modify the logo. I'm going to modify the numbers.
Oh, right.
On the screen.
Oh, there you go. Off the 1.
Yeah.
That'd look great.
Anyway. Either way, so that was fucking crazy. So back to last week, in between. So let's do the in between. Episode 100 and Trump being shot, because that's a full fucking week.
Yeah.
Basically, of having no power, couldn't edit the episode. So let me get this out of the way, because this is fucking nuts. I want everybody to understand. If you watched, I gotta go single cam. If you watched episode 100, you have no clue how much editing it took to make it happen properly. Because if you're on the Patreon, you would have seen a different podcast. Because, one, there's about 35 more minutes in it, including a very long setup time. Also, I didn't bother to edit out my own name because everybody said it's so damn much there was no way that I could fix it. Thanks, everybody, for that. Oh, no, worst kept secret on the internet. I just don't go. I don't like going by my first name. It doesn't sound natural anymore. That's why only family basically calls me my
Am I in trouble?
Yeah. But it's also like everybody who knows me from the internet knows me as... Like, even though they're friends with me on Facebook and see my real name, they don't call me that. They call me my name.
Yeah, Shokarilla.
Or they call me Shoky. Either way. So, either way, what I had to do for the whole episode, and I told you this earlier, the entire episode, I did not realize that my camera was mirrored. So, if you watch the Patreon version, it is left unattended. So, basically, I had Will on my left and I had Heffy on my right. And you'll see me turn my head and talk to what you think is Will, but in fact, I'm talking to Heffy. The main way to tell is because whenever I switch the camera at a certain point, you can tell that the Ecto-1 is behind me and behind Will. When it's flipped, it's part of it's behind me, part of it or by Jeff, and the other part is over there behind Will. But the part why I didn't notice is because sometimes we had the full cam up so often I didn't think about it.
Right.
And because the other camera over on StreamYard, which was also... So let me explain what I did.
There was a lot going on that night.
So let me explain what it is I had to do. I took the footage, because it was all one long video recording. Mind you, I don't know what that buzzing sound just was. Either way, I took the 2 different audio levels because I recorded everybody who was on StreamYards in their own level so I could isolate that, right? But everything else was in one video channel. I flipped the one video, I mirrored it so that I was facing the right way. And then I spent an hour trying to mask off just my tiny window to such a way that you couldn't see the edge of the other frames. And there's a couple spots where you can see in the transition between one spot to another where you'll see just a real quick, like, single frame of something being screwed up. I had to do that for the entire 4-hour podcast.
Well, those are Easter eggs we can now go through and find.
Yeah, if you can find them. I mean, I did a pretty good job, but every now and then they've slipped between the cracks of the frames, and you can't do anything about it.
Right.
It's an in-between frame switch. And in fact, I think I was off by like 2 frames for the entire thing, because sometimes I'll see the original frame switch, and then instantly mine changes right behind it.
Right.
So, but it's not really noticeable if you're not sitting here staring at it frame by frame.
Well, anyway, you got it done. And
yeah, took 2.5 fucking days of editing.
Here in the past 2 or 3 episodes, you've been doing a lot of teasers at the beginning of the
teasers
episode.
were fun to do.
Dude, I like them. They're looking really good.
Yeah. So the teaser I dropped as a promo. So this is also the most amount of work I did, because with this one episode, not only did I edit out the stuff beforehand, I trimmed any kind of weird transitions we had for break time. I took out a couple of weird conversations that, like, probably shouldn't put that out there because, like, that was Like there was a part where Ricky was accusing Mike of saying something very racist towards Selena. He was joking to his wife because you know she couldn't hear the actual conversation. But I took that out, even though it was funny. I was like, no, let's not include that in there. It's a little too far. And then what I did is I took a whole like 14-minute conversation when everybody else went to break, but basically conveniently the 4 remaining original co-hosts were all still together, and we did a short little thing where we just talked about, you know, getting caught up because we hadn't honestly sat down and had a conversation in 6 months, 7 months. So, because none of those guys have been on the show since effectively September of last year. That's how long it's been since we've sat down and really had a conversation. So I had to edit all that stuff out for time, and then I took that conversation, moved it out of, didn't want to delete it and come back later. I took a whole chunk of that edit, moved it to the end. Why are you?
I pushed a fucking button.
Stop pushing buttons. So I moved that out of the way so that I could just isolate it for later. And then while going through the edit, I knew where the really funny stuff took place. And so as I'm editing, not that anybody cares about this behind the scenes, wherever I put my clips, I can change the color of the clip on the screen. The base color is green. So for anything now that I'm doing as a teaser / promo or intro teaser, I now highlight blue. So as I'm scrolling through, I can just go, oop, there it is, and then come back later. Anything I'm removing is in yellow because it stands out, and just chop that shit off. So I went through the back 2 hours of the podcast, basically. Actually, probably longer than that. And that's where I pulled most of the teasers. But I did not.
A quarter of it was just me laughing.
Yeah. But I think why Mike maybe got a little... Maybe Mike's comment was about the fact that they weren't on video in the teasers. But there was nothing that funny that happened on their screen. So, I mean, it's not like I cut them out. I didn't have the ability to do that. We were live recording it. So anytime it switched to them, that was me pushing buttons.
Yeah, it's hard to get people, especially if they're sitting there by themselves staring at a camera, to really get engaged like the rest of us in person.
Well, I mean, they're all used to it because that's how they all podcast as it is. That's how this podcast started. But, I mean, like, the funnier stuff just happened to happen while we were on camera.
Yeah.
I couldn't control that in the edit. There was only a couple...
At one point, you were laughing so hard you couldn't push buttons.
No, that didn't happen. I was just failing at pushing buttons. But there was one tiny little hiccup that you'll see near the end of the edit, or near the end of the show, where I needed a really clean transition, but the video didn't allow me to do it. And you had said something. You were asking why Jessica was stroking the mic boom.
Yeah.
And you started that question while it was on the StreamYard screen. So there's a tiny little blip where I just put our logo, like the camera failed, and then it goes. So that I edited out some of that.
But you still got the audio.
Yeah. So because I have the audio in its own channel. So a lot of times what nobody will notice is where I talk about seamless editing. Because sometimes if I can isolate the audio from the video, which generally I can do, and if I have the ability to isolate audio from audio, so everybody who's on the internet side is in their own audio channel, and then you, me, and Will, and Jessica were in our own audio channel. Unfortunately, I don't have separate channels for all of us. I don't have the ability to do that.
Right.
But that allows me to go, okay, I can clip out them talking, move your audio back, clip out this little tiny chunk, and make it seem like we went from the thing we're laughing about to you asking why Jessica is stroking the thing.
Right.
And it wasn't the cleanest edit because video wise, like obviously nobody will hear that on the purely audio side of things. If you're listening to it, you probably won't hear any wonkiness. You'll hear the spots where I added the breaks into the video. Because I figured that would be a time for people to just go, okay, they're taking a break. I'm going to pause here and then go get I even said on there, go get a drink or pee on the screen. It's like, our break is your break. You go. So, I mean, it was hell to edit. It's not the most amount of work I've had to do for a podcast. The most amount of work was what I had to do to fix the podcast with me and James.
Right.
Where I forgot to hit record. And the camera audio is all I had.
Well, you won't have to do it again for another 100 episodes.
Well, not like that. But we might. But one day you might not be here, and I have to call Dante to come on again.
Right.
which Dante and I will have to do. We're still supposed to do the podcast over the Pope's Exorcist. We were supposed to do that in April. We were supposed to record that in April to come out in May. Because everything was going wonky right then, we couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So we're still having to push it back. But I enjoy doing movie reviews with Dante because that's kind of what he does. Mm-hmm. Even though he does more for horror movies, but
so I can't get into horror. I'm not a big fan.
I know. I mean, I've only got into it more because of him, because I was like watching things for the review.
Right.
But it allowed us to at least bond over something other than just beer and normal podcast nerdery. So, but Dante's a cool dude, you know, and in a different pod setting other than doing 100-question questionnaire, while drinking wine and then taking gummies
out of his Yahtzee shaker. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was drinking out of a Gatorade bottle.
That's it.
He didn't have a cup down. He didn't have a cup there. So he just went ahead and refilled his Gatorade bottle with wine. I was like, this is how this podcast goes.
That's the true haterade, yes.
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of fun. We really did.
It was a good time, man. We had a blast.
Like, so shout out to Jennifer who made the cake. That was way too fucking big. Like, that was only supposed to be 2 layers. She did 3. Right. Oh my God, it took so long to fucking eat that thing, me and Jessica.
And a big thank you to Jessica for reading all the questions.
Yes. But what I was going to say was that initially Jennifer and her husband were supposed to take home some food. So we would have had way less leftovers, but because they were now in a hurry to get food before the storm, they rushed out of here, unfortunately. So, but it was good at least that they came by for 2 seconds to drop off the cake. And honestly subsisted off the cake for at least breakfast and late night dessert for 5 days. There's 5 days to eat that fucking thing, along with any other dry food we already had. Thank God I bought tuna and already had chips and bread and stuff like that. Like, it already gone grocery shopping, so like the only thing we had to do was make sure nothing's spoiled.
I did good. I didn't have to crack open any MREs or anything.
Good.
I was kind of looking forward to the jambalaya.
So I just got to talk about work this past week because
you've been playing catch up.
We were playing catch up because we were only closed for the day of the hurricane, and we almost weren't closed for that. They legitimately tried to send people out. No joke. 30 minutes before the hurricane hit, they were trying to send people on the road. Okay, that's an exaggeration. 45 minutes. 45 minutes before the hurricane hit our town, they were still contemplating on whether or not people needed to go out and work. It was like, what are they gonna do? Hunker down for 2.5 hours while the thing fucking posted? I was like, are you stupid? Like, everybody needs to go the fuck home and hunker down. Fuck you, and everything needs to be done here. Right. Sorry. It's like if I had come to work that morning, fuck that. Anyways, I was recovering. Anyways, so if I'd come to work that morning for whatever reason, and they were like, "Hey, we don't know if we're gonna let y'all go just yet," and be like, "No, I'm going the fuck home. Mm-hmm. You write down that I showed up for work because you told me to, but there's a fucking hurricane literally about to hit us. I'm going the fuck home. I'm not going to stay either in a work vehicle or a large metal building while this fucking hurricane force winds hit us. Right. Sorry, not happening." So one of the guys who does work with me did come to work and was about to leave early to go start his thing. Thank God he didn't.
Right.
He'd have been in the middle of the road halfway to Montgomery when that bitch hit. No. So Monday shut down. Tuesday we borrowed a generator like we always do. Borrow a big ass generator from a particular rental place right there.
Yeah.
Very, very large.
Very local.
Very, very local, green, shiny place.
Yes.
So they hook it up. They go turn everything on, ready to get everybody rolling Tuesday morning, 4:00 in the morning. 20 minutes later, it dies.
No.
The fucking generator just completely craps out.
And everyone else had every other generator rented.
No, they had another one.
Oh, really? Okay.
They had another one because they probably always book at least 2 for us.
Of course, that's still, what, a 3-4 hour turnaround to hook up a new one?
About an hour and a half because it's right around the corner. So
no, I know that.
It's just whether or not there's a body out there to deal with it. But you got to think, once they have it hooked up, it's no big deal to hook up the next one.
Yeah.
It's just literal cords. Like, burp, burp, let's go. You know, it's one of the giant industrial generators.
It was on a trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They used to not be. They used to drop them off.
Yeah.
and then it'd be sitting there. But it's a huge, like, I don't even know the wattage fucking type generator. So they got started an hour and a half late. Everything about Tuesday was fucked. Everything about it. Because the computers had been down. The whole system was down in the region. So they couldn't fix it to run it like a Tuesday. So we're already parsed out our work for Monday. So the problem is they can't fix it to change everything to the way we do stuff on Tuesday, because it's a whole different setup between Monday to the rest of the week, because we run a smaller labor force.
Because you're already staged for that day's work.
We're staged for Monday on Saturday, and we have less people, and things are set up totally different. Like, we're not even all using the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but the problem is they can't change it and fix it because they lost that hour and a half where they probably would have.
Now, see, I had a much different week than you did.
Yeah.
Much, much different week.
Okay. But let me finish the 2 other fucked up days, and then I will let you run with it by all means, because we haven't been able to catch up either. So Tuesday,
we checked on each other once, I think.
Yeah, well, I think we checked on each other on Wednesday. Well, there was one time you said we got power at the farm. It's like, good. It's like I'm still fucked, but thanks for letting me know you got power.
I offered showers.
Yes, but it's a long drive for a shower.
But clean and food and cook.
No gas available in town because there's 3-hour gas lines.
I filled up the night, but
I filled up Saturday. And
I found they had to put fuel in her yesterday.
Yeah,
because that is a thirsty girl.
Yeah, so that's one reason why I did
30 gallons in a week.
Yeah, so we took Jessica's car to go anywhere because at least it would run better. Oh, by the way, I have an update.
Vehicular update.
I have a minor vehicular update to give you today because I forgot until just now.
I got them too.
Okay, so Tuesday was a fucked up day. Wednesday was another fucked up day. Now, mind you, I'm not even running my stuff. I'm covering for a guy that's out. It's like, so I'm servicing completely different area for I mean, I'm not unfamiliar. You know, I'm up in your neck of the woods. But problem is, because everything was fucked up from literally point A, by the time it got to me at point Q, everything was so fucked up that basically I got multiple.
Did you get where you needed to go throughout the day, or did you have to?
There was a few places I had to change course because of down trees, but only a handful of times. Yeah. But that was it. But it was just mostly that, like, I'm good at logistics. I just have developed that from being in being in the logistics world for most of my adult life. I'm good at it. What was done to me and a lot of people the last week to make shit work was the complete opposite of logistics.
The logistics thing, we don't even think about it anymore. Neither of us do. My wife will say, hey, I'm doing this and going here and doing this and going there. I'll be home at this time. And I'll say, no, you won't.
I got a little too much foam on that drink.
Because she'll say it. And nope, you'll be probably 2 hours later than you think. And then she gets all mad, and 2 hours later than she thought, she's rolling up.
Sorry, everyone is messaging me right now, all at the same fucking time. What? Oh. Sorry, I was like, that was a random comment. Oh, I did forget to read some of the comments we had recently, but it's okay. Basically, it's from episode 62, where Dewdog visited. A couple of his fans came and said, hey, look, it's Dewdog. Either way, that and... There was another... Oh, that was you and me going back and forth about our vehicular problems. No big deal.
Yep.
All right, so... which day was it? I'll just skip to Saturday because we kind of got it back to normal by Thursday. Still a little bit wonky. Mind you, still coming home to power lost until the middle of Wednesday. So by the time I got home at like 2 o'clock Wednesday, we had power. But coming home to a hot place after being out in the heat constantly fucking sucked. Basically just getting a tiny bit of air conditioning in my car from work to here was basically the only respite I had. And then, oh, that's the other part. So at work, for some reason, the water was cut off. Like between Thursday, I think Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we had the power going because of the generator. We had no water. Should be on the same water as everyone else. But for some reason, we had no water. And I desperately needed to go to the bathroom Friday morning. I was at the building. And I'm like, I need to shit and piss, but I can't, and I can't leave right now.
Well, I can't. Just dry drop. Go.
No. It was not. No, this was not a blast and leave. This was I was wherever I don't remember where I stopped to go to the bathroom at this point, but it was traumatic.
You owe somebody an apology.
Well, due to the weird eating arrangements of the past few days since hurricane.
Yeah, that much Vienna sausage and jerky. Yeah, I was
Basically.
screwing anyone up.
Yeah, I was already getting screwed up from the weekend. So
oh, that was the deviled ham. Yeah.
Yeah. So Saturday rolls around, which, by the way, I found out the Saturday I took off to do episode 100 was one of the most fucked up Saturdays we've had in like 2 years.
Well, don't you feel nice?
I am very happy I missed that fucking day. They told me what happened. I was like, thank God I
That's
wasn't
a you
here.
problem.
That is a you problem. Thank God. I was like, because there's no way. Like, if you have any inkling about everything I had to take care of that day, between cooking the meat for like 5 hours, which, by the way, that cooked way too fast, considering that's the heaviest picanha I've done, the fact that it cooked as quick as it did at 200 or at 220 was crazy. Like, very crazy to cook that quickly. Even after being wrapped, the last like 30 degrees went really quick without upping the temp. Either way, so we had to find a table. So I borrowed a table from my chiropractor, which I need to return. Of course, I went there today, left, and went, fuck! I forgot it. So I got to get it to her because they have an event tomorrow night. So I'm gonna take that down to my car when I leave in the morning and drop it off when I get off from work. Because I don't have time to do it right now. So I had to get the meat, had to transfer everything, all of the setup in here, into there. After we've bought a table at Academy, so shout out to Academy for having tables in stock. But they had one. What we went there for was a 4-foot round cookout table. So it has like 3 cup holders and little divots where you can basically.
I've seen it. We're doing for shrimp
yeah,
bowl, crawfish.
Yeah, but it's big enough where you can actually put down a plate and stuff like that. So honestly, that looked like a pretty good option to do the podcast. Because we could have all sat around it, and I could have put the cameras and stuff in the middle because it has a hole for a trash can.
Yeah.
So I really, truly considered it.
Those clamp styles would have worked really well.
Yes.
Just right inside.
Well, even these would have worked. But because we would have put the cameras there, not the microphones. But the thing was, it was more money. It was like $90.
Yeah.
And we really looked at it. If I could have had one out to like really see it and get a feel for it, and it's also adjustable height, which would have been also very nice. But the fact that we couldn't use it as a real table for most things because it has divots, it doesn't have a flat top on it. That's the main selling point, was because that one will stay out there until we need it out of the way, and then we fold it up and put it away. Because Jessica wants them to do fucking puzzles and everything.
Yeah, I was wondering where they were.
Yeah, so I just took everything off of there yesterday. Like, I had to stream Saturday, so yeah, it's fucking Monday. So Saturday, I took everything finally back in here. You helped me slightly get some of the things from in here to out there.
Yeah, mainly my chair.
Yeah, we got the chairs, but I needed help moving the desk and getting some stuff. I had most of it out there. It did take me a while to get everything set back up in here because of that. Okay, so let me get back to Saturday. Sorry, we're talking about work woes, and then I'm done. Fuck. So normally I drive the same vehicle at work all week long, except for Saturday, due to the switcheroo that happens because of Monday. And I have not told my boss to just fix it and let me drive the same vehicle. And I had the fucking thought on Friday to tell him to do it. And I fucking should have. Because, and here's the irony, both vehicles I'm driving come from the same person. So the one I normally drive was his. In fact, has his name on the side. Because they did like commemorative plaques for people who've been there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So the truck I drive on Saturday is his normal truck for the week. So for some reason, he fucking switches it on Saturday. No real reason. I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. And, okay, so all of the weird mechanical woes, you've worked on old cars, modern cars, whatever. I have never experienced what I experienced Saturday. I even had weird-ass experience today, but I knew enough about cars and my own vehicle particularly to diagnose the problem while I was still driving and then fixed it when I got to where I was going. What happened Saturday I finish with a customer. I get back in the vehicle. I start it. And the starter keeps spinning.
Oh, joy.
Even though the engine's running.
Solenoid's in the closed position. It's stuck.
So I turn it off. It still keeps cranking. Never seen that happen. Now, mind you...
Time for percussive maintenance.
So, what did I end up doing? Basically, I got it to quit by letting it start again. So I turned it off and I said, okay, fuck it. I put it in neutral just in case. Put it in neutral, put it back, hit the starter again. Vehicle started, and it stopped making the.
I guarantee you the extra weight on the flywheel caused it to flex, and that allowed that solenoid to disengage.
Probably. So it stopped, and I went on down the road.
Would you write up that it needed a new starter?
Not even there yet.
Ah.
I get, no joke, 50 feet, completely cuts out on me.
Battery, everything just gone?
Everything just shuts off. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck just happened? So I drop it in neutral because I'm got a coast. And I get it to a stop, put it in park. Like, okay, let's see what happens here. Hit the button again. It starts. I'm like, So, and mind you, I'm in a little neighborhood at this point. Trying to get back to a main road. I get another 30, 40 feet down the road. Cuts out on me again. I'm like, motherfucker, what is happening? I was like, this is weird. I mean, it's like, it's acting like it's out of gas, in a way.
Or there's a short.
Don't get ahead of me. I fucking get it started again. So I get out on the main road. I should have taken a left and gone to the gas station that was like right there. Because I probably would have been able to get there. I get just a little ways down the road. I'm taking it easy. And it 100% just everything fucking dies. I've got no steering. I've got no power. The brakes are fucking solid.
But dash is dark, everything.
Dash is fucking, well, it's beeping at me with every fucking possible thing that can light up.
Lit up like a Christmas
tree. Lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. And
that's half the vehicles I've ever owned.
So I coast to, there's no shoulder. There's just road and driveways and ditch. I coast to someone's driveway, sideways, and I didn't pull in. That would have been even more difficult. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck just happened? And so I try to start it, nothing. I grab the key, not just the remote start, and it won't do anything. Like turn the key, screen comes on, the warnings on the thing say engine comm fail, transcom fail, ABS comm fail. I was like, I just said, what? It's like, okay. It's like, let me try to, it's like, there's nothing I can fucking do at this particular juncture. I'm almost done with my day, like 2.5 hours early. Almost done. And I don't have that much further to go. So I'm like, fuck, I can't fix this right here. And nor is it my responsibility to fix. I checked the batteries just in case. There was a weird smell coming from the center of the vehicle. No idea what that was about. Actually, I kind of have an idea. But, call my boss, and I'm like, hey, my truck just basically blew up on me. He's like, shit.
That happened a month ago as well, didn't it?
A very different situation.
But you still got stranded.
Yeah, I got stranded on the side of the road. At least that was in the middle of an open highway.
Right.
Not a fucking small road with no shoulder. So same guy, literally same guy, same truck comes to tow me. But my boss brought me another truck so that I could continue working. It's like, I can't just fucking bail. I have work to continue.
Right.
I have more customers to get to. It's like, well, we don't have other bodies who can just fucking take over.
Here's this truck. It's not empty, so do the rest of its route too.
Well, it wasn't that. It was just that, there are a handful of trucks that don't get used at work, but most of the time it's all of them.
Yeah.
So luckily he had an empty. Unfortunately, it was one of the most filthy trucks I've been in months, so I had to deal with it. I fucking hate living in other people's filth. It's fucking disgusting.
Right.
But it got me through the rest of my fucking day, though I thought for a minute it was about to fuck up on me. So we deal with all that nonsense, and I continue my day, and then they're like, hey, by the way, because today was already kind of a fuck up, you can actually probably go home early because these other guys can finish the other stuff you got to deal with at the end of the day, because normally I have to do some stuff for other people because they can't, because their days are so fucked.
Yeah.
But because I guess we got too far ahead, or we were missing stuff due to the hurricane, everybody had an easy day. So he called me, same boss calls me. He's like, hey, if you want to go do this, you can go do that, and then just hurry the fuck to the next thing, and then go home, or you can skip that entirely. The other guy can take care of it, and you can still go the fuck home early. So instead of I got off about an hour early. So turned it around, and then, Trump gets shot, and then my mom calls me with the horrendous news. So let me just talk about that just briefly, and I'll let you go, because that's how my Saturday went. Weird day at work, seemingly catastrophic day at work. Come home, get everything set up in here. So it takes a couple hours to get everything reset up in here. Trump gets shot. I'm trying to start up the live stream at 8 o'clock. Mom calls. Catastrophic conversation. I mean, literally, because, and I told you this, there was a big miscommunication between me and my mom this week. Because the first thing out of her mouth earlier when she had called me was, hey, do y'all have power? I'm like, yeah, we've had power for days. So at no point in time talking to my mom had it come up that we had power. And then because I checked the Entergy website that showed that their neighborhood had power, I thought they had power. So mom thought I didn't have power, and I thought she did. Obviously, the reverse was true. So she didn't call for help thinking that I didn't have power, and I didn't bother her thinking that she did have power. Mm-hmm. So, catastrophic failure later. She called me completely mentally broken. Threatened to do some harm if something didn't happen. And I will be 100% honest. I almost had a breaking point where I was going to tell her to just go ahead and fucking do it. Just fucking do whatever it is you want to do. If you're at that point, just fucking do it. I will call the cops tomorrow. I'll give you time. Mm-hmm. It's like, then I'd be accessory to murder.
Yep.
So, no, I'm not going to do that. So, the better part of me that I like to think came out of the months of church I've been attending, kept her on the phone, talked her down, tried to find solutions to her problems, offered solutions that we could manage, and that got her to calm the fuck down. Because
a lot of it at that point is managing expectations.
And gonna be honest, like, there were massive expectations of me and some of my siblings, but the problem is nobody can take my dad. We can't. Like, he can't get up the stairs here. Mm-hmm. Not only would he not manage that physically, he wouldn't be able to deal with being in a strange place. Not to mention not having his chair, not having a bed, not having anything that he would normally have.
Right.
And my mom can't come here either because she can't get up the fucking stairs either. She doesn't feel half her body. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to navigate curbs.
Did she have a stroke at one point?
She's had multiple strokes.
Okay.
So her left side of her body, she can't feel at all. She can move and talk and everything. She has zero feeling. So she walks with the expectation that her foot is there. And visual, yep, my foot's there.
Yeah.
She's trained well enough now at this point because it's been so long that she can walk. However, she doesn't have that much strength. And to come up 3 flights of stairs, which is hard for even
that's not gonna happen.
Us young-ish, semi-healthy people, even
it's
fat.
It's not hard.
It can be when you're tired as fuck and you've been baking in your house for 5 days.
Yeah, I guess.
Your muscles are deteriorating and you have barely gotten any food. But, I mean, on a normal day, having them here would be chaos. Yes, it would have given them a respite from the heat and everything else like that, and I would have no problem taking care of to the best of my ability. But realistically, we even offered to get them a hotel because there was at least a couple that people finally got out of. So a couple of the hotels opened up. I'd have paid a couple $100 to give him just a couple days just to fucking.
Oh yeah.
But he still would have they would have been kicked out within.
Oh, he would have had an episode.
Both. He would have had a minor problem, and she would have yelled at him until the cops were called. So no, that wasn't an option. There's no good solutions to that problem, and that's what I dealt with on Sunday, and then again today. So me and Andre went over there today to go try to clean up some of the yard, and get sticks, leaves, and everything else, and burn them because. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to mention. My mom got taken for $6,500 fucking dollars to clean up the fallen trees. They were supposed to. I mean, you tend to do your own thing, but you've seen other people fucking remove trees.
Yes.
They were supposed to chop up, grind up, haul away the main carcass of said tree, and grind and fill the stump hole, like they had done previously in the yard from months ago. Unfortunately, the person she called, while same name and definitely associated to the old company, was now doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Badly. So basically, they chopped up the trees, threw all the shit in one giant pile in the yard. Even my mom said, "Hey, what are y'all doing? You're supposed to be taking that away." He said, "No, we're not taking it away. We burn it right there." I was like, I don't want it burned here and burning up half my yard to deal with this giant fucking fuck pile. You're supposed to take it away and grind the stumps. They actually pushed one of the stumps back into the ground.
Oh, good grief.
Of one of the fallen fucking oak trees. They pushed it back in the ground.
That's going to be a big, big hole later.
Well, there's multiple ones around, but we usually fill them with whatever. And so basically, they only took cash.
Yeah, that's shady.
Yeah. So I would not have paid them anything until the job that they agreed upon was done. I don't care if it's 3 days later and they're still working at it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fucking money until you're done. Now, mind you, my mom is not in her best mind. It's totally fair. No one else was there with her trying to negotiate with these fuckheads. And when they supposedly didn't even bring the fucking stump grinder with them, that should have been the instant red flag.
Yes.
If all they brought was a tractor to haul, lumber, not
move
lumber,
heavy thing,
and no fucking stump grinder, that would have been okay. Where the fuck is all your equipment? Because like I said, it was the same name. It's actually the brother of the guy who ran the other thing. Apparently, they had a falling out at some point in the last few months, and one went one way. Put up a very, very, very similar name company, totally different website, totally different phone numbers, all this shit, business card, and my mom fucking unfortunately went with it. So, and they did a terrible job. I mean, they did a job, but then they refused to cut up one of the trees that was still there because they weren't the one who started cutting it in the first place.
Oh, good grief!
And said no, but my mom threatened to leave bad business reviews for them. Put up a sign saying don't fucking do, because my mom's not on Facebook. I mean, I'm sure you saw my post yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I posted it on Facebook for her because she's not on Facebook anymore. So when she threatened to basically make it public, what they did, they said, no, we'll come back. And so 3 days later, they fucking come back with just the tractor and 4 fucking dudes. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you want us to do? Chop the shit up and haul it off.
Well, all the wooden long things that are horizontal.
Yeah. It's like, you see all that over there? That needs to not be in my yard anymore.
Trees go this way. Any trees that are this way.
Yeah. They need to go away.
Go bye-bye.
Yes. And grind the fucking stumps. And they're like, well, we can't do that. He's like, and then, I was out there for this conversation. And even she was trying to be like, okay, can you at least cut some of the stuff into manageable sizes, at least, so that we can take it to the wood pile, something. Instead of just basically, quarter tree carcass in the fucking pile.
Right.
Something. Make it manageable.
And a giant root ball to deal with.
That too.
I'm actually, we have a black walnut that went down in the yard. And I'm thinking about cleaning that root ball up and maybe making a bench or something out of it.
It's a big turning project.
I ain't turning nothing that big.
I'm joking.
But
but they said they wouldn't do anything else unless we gave her more money. It's like, fuck you. You didn't do the job you were hired to do.
Right. $6,500. That's insane.
I don't even know. I mean, there was 4 or 5 guys. I couldn't tell. There was at least 4. I know that. Plus I don't want to call him Hefe at this point because, the boss man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck did you pay for? It's like, dude, fucking give us $2,000 back because you fucking didn't do the job. Either way, so that led to an argument with Jessica that, they talked it out later in the day. So either way, that's how Andre and I ended up over there this morning to help clean up sticks and shit like that and try to clean up the yard just a little bit. We're not moving anything heavy. Which is what led to my automotive woes that started this morning.
Oh no, they're back.
Different woes. Okay, so let's talk about progress on one woe that you were aware of. What did my car do when someone was in it?
It jiggled and wiggled and shimmied and shook.
It vibrated violently when accelerating when I had a passenger.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No, I didn't either. Trust me.
Not a fan.
So, my first time I've had a passenger in the car since fixing it. Mind you, Andre is not that heavy of a person.
He's a slight individual.
He's very athletic body. But honestly, if I put too heavy of a something, if I had too many groceries in the car, it did it. So, Andre in the car, accelerating, perfectly smooth. No problem.
You're happy at this point.
At this particular juncture. And then I get further down the loop heading towards my mom's house. And then all of a sudden I let off the gas and the RPMs don't drop.
Oh no.
And then I'm like coasting, RPMs aren't going down.
Clutch in.
And then all of a sudden it's like boom, boom. And it drops down to normal idle because I'm cruising. Or coasting. It drops down to idle. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So get to the next stoplight. Come to the stop, and it's like, and I'm like,
someone needs a new spring.
That's odd. That's not supposed to happen. And I'm like, well, there's only 2 things this could be: a vacuum leak or a stuck throttle. Only 2 things it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Because it's a mechanical throttle, it's not an electronic one. And I'm like, okay, the last time I had a massive vacuum leak, it definitely did something very similar to me, except when that happened, I heard a very loud pop at 90 miles an hour as too much air was being forced up and through and sideways into a vacuum / boost line because somebody hooked everything else wrong.
Yeah, my old Jeep did that.
Yeah. So
it backfired so hard, blew up the muffler.
This wasn't a backfire.
Oh, okay.
It was the fact that whoever connected all the hoses put a vacuum source and a boost reference into the same T.
Oh, so it was popping on D-cell?
No, when I say popped, the pop was the pressure of that whole hose assembly blasting off the intake. It blasted off the intake from all the pressure that was in it.
That was last time.
Because I was going 90 in like 4th gear.
Well, don't go 90.
90 is a good thing to do.
It's also
The car goes 140. I'm barely using it at 90. Either way. So, and I wasn't doing anything crazy when this happened. And I didn't hear anything crazy. But we get to my mom's house. And I'm like, all right, let me go check this thing. I was like, because I figure when I hit the brakes, it make go throttle. Not the way that's supposed to work. So I'm thinking that the vacuum line from the brake booster popped off. That's creating a giant vacuum hole. Because the biggest worry is that I have a ruptured baffle inside the drum, or inside the fucking brake booster. Because that means replacing the whole brake booster, which is not a quick job. That's about a 4.5 hour job at bare minimum. So I look under the hood and I'm like, oh, look, there's a hose off the intake.
Right.
Problem solved.
Where's the hose clamp?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm either going to use a zip tie or a small hose clamp. But it's a really old.
Hell, those pinch clamps work.
Yeah,
good too.
yeah. I've got some of those. So I'm going to do that eventually. But realistically, it's
vacuum,
a very.
All you really need on a vacuum is the pinch clamp.
Yeah, this thing is so old. It just has no. I mean, it.
Oh, trust me, I know about old.
It looks out. It looks like Debbie, 20 years in Dallas.
Right.
So, either way, it's a hot dog down a vacuum line. So either way, so that's where I'm caught up for the week. So let's go to Heffy did things.
Let's see here. Let's start with work-wise, storm-wise. My schedule didn't change at all. I actually got a day off on Tuesday because Dad was feeling better. I no longer had to cover for him.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to ask how he was feeling.
He's getting better. He's on the up and up. But so Monday, no storm yet. Got home that morning, passed out. Storm passed. I had to work
Passed.
that. I had to work
that's
that.
a way to put it. Passed.
I had to work that night, Monday night, and it was pitch, dark. No lights in town.
Yeah, that's not a long drive from the apartment to your work.
No, it's not. But still,
But it is very, very dark.
So
I know.
So I roll in.
I did it on Tuesday.
So I roll in, and as soon as I hit the parking lot, I've got a curved light bar, big 50-inch light bar on top of Suburban. Flip that on, light the whole area up.
Woke up some people.
No one lives around there. It's all industrial.
Oh, at work. Sorry.
Only person
I thought you got back to the apartment. You're talking about
only
getting
person
to
I
work.
might have woke up was the truck driver there waiting to download.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. You were getting to work when you turned it on.
to work.
My brain was getting back to apartment.
So I sit there all night.
I don't listen.
They have a magnetic gate that latches for security purposes.
Sure.
With power out, it's no longer secured.
Yeah.
So I do rounds. Me and little Nixie go walking around, looking at everything, and she's running around doing her thing. Everything's secured. So I park the truck way far away from where I usually park. So I'm by that gate. Turn the lights off. It's dark. I can't see a damn thing. I mean, I didn't even see a cat when it jumped on the hood. So I flipped on the light bar. It took off.
It's like the sun.
For real. That thing's bright.
Yeah.
We did have an employee try to get in. I fired up the Suburban at the same time turning on the lights and scared the crap out of her. She said all I could think of was Christine.
I mean, it would be pitch black there and the lights come on.
LED headlights, LED light bar, bunch of amber behind it, and loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard you when you left the other day.
Yeah, she's noisy.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Other than that, work didn't change.
I mean, you basically did the same job you always do. Keep parking lots secure.
Building, etc.
Well, I'm just saying the concrete.
Vehicular woes.
You babysitted the concrete.
After last week, I developed a coolant leak, big bad one.
Yes, because you were dripping in my parking lot.
Turns out it wasn't the head gasket. I was so relieved. My buddy CB.
Chuck Brown.
Yeah, sure. He
Chris Brown.
Yeah.
He's good at roundhouse kicks.
He was looking at it, and he found where the oil dipstick tube was rubbing against one of the metal pipes coming out of the firewall that recirculated the
heater line.
the heater core.
Yeah.
I think
How did that even happen?
I think every single old Chevy in the world has that piece of metal line replaced with about that much rubber hose.
Yeah.
Because it happens all the time. So Luke and I jumped out there at the apartment with a Sawzall and a short blade that I cut off just for using tight areas.
Yeah.
Cut those off, patched it, filled it up. Great, no more leaks.
Yeah.
At work, I checked the oil, noticed.
What you did is you bypassed it.
Yeah, no, we didn't bypass it. We patched it.
Oh, sorry.
We didn't do a bypass. We just patched it.
You cut the metal lines and then patched with two rubber hoses.
That and I made a protective sleeve with zip ties and another piece of hose to keep it from rubbing through.
I got you.
Anyway,
I did that. I did that on something on my car.
I don't know if you heard with the Suburban, all the valve tick and clacking and all, just same thing every single Vortec LS does.
Sure.
They get loud, they get noisy. Well, I checked the oil, noticed I was more than a quart low. Grab a bottle of Lucas, dump the whole thing in there, top the rest off.
You had bottled Sun?
Yeah. What's up?
You had bottled Sun.
Yes. Anyway.
Well, you said Lucas and I fixed this, and I grabbed some bottled Lucas. I'm like, I don't want to know what you have bottles from Luke
bottle
for.
Of Lucas oil stabilizer went in.
Sure, that's what we're going to call it
over the
now.
next 4 days, that engine got quieter and quieter and quieter and smoother. And I was just as happy as can be. Wednesday, I went in, hit discount tire. $1,900 later, upgraded from 33s to 35s. Bleh. And the thing's running smoother than it has since I bought it. I mean, it's riding like a Cadillac.
Bleh.
You do bleh.
Bleh. To your big fucking tires.
Hey, I need them because of that dirt road every day.
You just need air suspension.
No. I don't want that to fail like they always do.
Well, I mean, it can't be worse than the Secret Service.
Right. They need air suspension too. What?
Yeah. I need some kind of suspension at this point. Either way.
That's been my week, man. Everything's happy on the Suburban.
Yeah.
it's a joy to drive right now. It's comfortable. Recharge the Freon, so now I got an Arctic front every time I turn on the AC. Van, all it needs is a expansion valve. That'll be
still
here
waiting on that piece.
That'll be here Thursday.
Your weird little tiny Italian expansion valve.
Cheap, $15.
Still Italian.
Yeah.
So, okay, did I tell you what I got to do? Well, I don't have to do this, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to very, very shortly. So I think that there's no way the fucking wheel bearing is going out again. I think. So I'm trying to remember, whenever you're checking a tire, if you go if it has a wiggle right to left, that's ball joint, and if it's top to bottom, that's wheel bearing.
I'm not sure. Anytime the wheel moves like that, I usually do both.
Yeah, but I'm not doing another fucking wheel bearing unless I absolutely have to. However, I'm pretty sure the ball joint needs to be replaced.
See, that's the difference. Your car wheel bearings are a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Mine, 3 bolts.
Mine are a pain because, one, it's an old car.
3 bolts and $300 per.
Yeah, it's an old car with specific parts, and they did not make things modular. So you have to do things the hard way. And it's not that easy to get that specific bearing.
I'd say that's why I'm always going to have old shitbox edition Chevy running around, because they will always run.
Well, unfortunately, they don't come in SRT flavor. So, either way.
They do. It's called LS3.
No. I still get decent gas mileage. LS3, not so much.
No,
So
I'm getting like 10.
Yeah, I get better than
I
that.
don't know. I haven't adjusted my... I've never.
You have to fucking adjust everything for the size of your fucking tires.
I've never adjusted my speedo, so it's reading 9 miles below my actual speed.
You need to re-gear it. You need to re-gear the rear end. So
already did 373 rear gear.
No, re-gear it for the fucking giant tires you put on it.
I did. I mean, before that, I was running 411 rear gears.
We'll do it now. Either way, get a quick change. So, what was I just fucking trying to say? Oh, so the same website that I usually get most of my neon-related parts from, it does have completely replaceable, fully assembled lower control arms. Comes with brand new bushings, brand new ball joint.
What website? I'd rather work on my car than drive it.com.
No. We're not talking about Fords. Either way. And they want a less than significant number of dollars for these control arms. But to be fair, they do add a completely new type of bushing setup to these control arms. They buy them from whoever, and then they actually reassemble them with new things. However, they want way too much fucking money just for the ball joint. Like, I've never seen a ball joint that costs this much fucking money.
What are we talking, like 600?
For a ball joint.
Yeah.
Just a ball joint.
How much?
$100.
Oh.
For a ball joint.
I've paid more than that for Moog parts on our diesels.
Okay, I'm talking about a tiny fucking singular thing, not pressed in anything and without a fucking boot on it. They want $100 fucking dollars just for the ball joint alone. The entire control arm is $300. Not even like crazy, like tubular, whatever. Mm-hmm. It is a stamped stock fucking control arm with added new bushings.
Well, then you might as well upgrade.
O'Reilly, where they would get the parts from anyways, $75 a piece.
Yeah, for everything.
For everything.
Yeah.
Mind you, not the upgraded bushings. But I don't care. I just need the fucking new stuff. So, guess where I'm going to buy those parts from when I get there. So, I think that's my problem. But that'll save me basically 4 bolts. And I swap the whole fucking control arm out.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of a pain in the dick to put them back in.
I've got a whole front end job I need to be doing soon for the Suburban. Because it's got, the slop steering and everything else that they have. But
of course.
They make upgrade kits that completely beef up your front end. They change your geometry for lifted vehicles with the double wishbone suspension and all that. Yeah. And I'll probably do that and then go have it aligned.
Yeah. Do everything all at once. That's why I didn't bother getting it aligned this go around when I did the front suspension.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it when I did that lower control. What is it? Control arm? The outer control arm?
No, tie rod.
Yeah, outer tie rod.
Tie rod, you do need to get the alignment, but if your toe is out.
I did it exactly.
What do you mean?
Where it was set, I have one of those rulers with the marking gauges you can lock down. Yeah. So I butted one into the tie rod, went all the way up to where it stopped on the other end of the inner tie rod, locked it down, And then when I adjusted it and locked everything else down with the new one, I kept doing it until it was perfect, right where it was.
Do you know the much easier way to do that?
What, piece of tape?
Yes. That is literally the mechanic's tool.
I wanted to make sure it was accurate.
You use a white piece of tape, or at least a light colored piece of tape, and you wrap it around the threads around the original one first, and then you just do. And if it crinkles at all, you back up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Well,
that's how I was trained. No joke. That's what I was trained to fucking do when I went to school.
I wrapped my head around the first one first, the way I did it. And I said, I'm not going to change it. This makes sense to me.
So the other way to do it would be if you had any kind of marking fluid at all, where you just go.
I don't have marking fluid.
Well, any type of paint where you could just go.
Well,
that's an easy way to just leave it there, and then you see when the threads get up to it. So,
however you get the rights right.
Yeah, I mean, like, big long fucking thingy, stick it from here to here, just fucking tape and just tape.
I was happy with it.
That way, at bare minimum, you're half a turn out.
But with doing it that way, I was able to get a snug friction fit. With it as it was when I measured it, and as soon as I got that proper friction fit, I knew I was spot on.
Yeah, might still need to get it adjusted at some point, but I know that I still got to figure out a way to get my sway bar on in the back effectively, which probably mean buying a new sway bar, because it'll come with new brackets. When I think the brackets are the problem. I don't know why they're the problem, but I think they're the problem. The new ones are adjustable, so you can move it a little bit. So if I can just get maybe a 1/4 of an inch, if that, to just slide the bitch a little out of whack, it'll fit. So with that, that's your foot. I didn't realize that. Apologies. I didn't expect your foot to be there. I expected it to be over there.
I was stretching.
I expected it to be over there. Either way. So you said that you got caught up on something.
Yeah, The Boys.
You finally got caught up on The Boys.
I finally saw the Murder Sheep.
Okay, so you finally figured out the title of that episode.
Yes.
Why it was Murder Sheep.
Well,
okay.
We knew to begin with.
I know.
But
that's joking.
It was still fun.
Okay, so I too am caught up currently on The Boys. Now that I know that it comes out Tuesday nights.
They left the cliffhanger on the last episode was just a shithole.
Yes. Now, mind you, they are going way off book now. They're pretty far off book,
because the shapeshifter or the doppelganger or whatever you want to call them.
It is technically a shapeshifter, but more
that
out of the
transition process is rough.
Now it reminds me of the one from Supernatural, because the shapeshifters in Supernatural peeled their old skin.
He
off.
did, but man, it wasn't that violent. It was more like a
you didn't watch it.
Peel.
You didn't see it happening. It was happening off camera. You saw a pile of skin. But for this person to be running,
jumping back into Supernatural too.
Okay, yes, the good job. So for this person to be running down a fucking staircase and ripping off large hunks of skin, because the way they shapeshift is the new body they're shapeshifting into is underneath.
They
the
essentially
skin.
molt.
They molt the old skin.
They molt their epidermis
in a violent manner. And wow, just wow. But also, this episode was probably the most political and not holding anything back about opinions on certain topics.
Yeah.
Because this whole season and even parts of last season, they've already said, the creators have already said that Homelander is their Trump. He is their Trump figure. So
see, I'm seeing it the other way around.
I will go deeper into that, because that is so from the outset they said Homelander's Trump. We want him to be like Trump and have all these Trumpian type situations. So he, they've had a lot of things, even speeches doing certain things and all these other. They're trying to copy him as Trump, but the thing that people have been there's a lot of conservative media people out there right now who are saying that The Boys have become woke garbage and all this other stuff, and I'm like,
in some aspects I'd agree,
but I'm not stopping you. I'm adding to your point. The woke garbage, which is hilarious. This is the way that I see it. Maybe you see it the same way because of what you just said. They say that Homelander and anybody in the Seven or anybody who is a soup for the most part is supposedly very conservative and on the quote-unquote right. And Dakota Bob, who is now the president-elect, putting up an anti-soup bill, is on the left, so to speak, and he's a progressive leftist supposedly. However, that's in the outward appearance of people on the Seven. They talk about conservative values. They talk about all these other things. They talk about trying to be pro-America, even so much as bringing in the Firecracker character, who is an Alex Jones type.
And all that is rhetoric.
Exactly. They portray things outwardly to be quote-unquote right-wing, while behind the scenes being absolutely...
There are so many, I mean, just side-by-side comparisons you can make with the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Saying one thing, completely doing another.
Yep.
Being violently aggressive toward their opponents.
Yep. Well, I mean, in this case, they are superheroes, so yeah.
Yeah.
Literally wiping out the...
Advocating violence for those that don't agree with them.
Yep.
Telling kids to spy on their parents or report their parents. How many leftist
That was
teachers...
straight up communism.
How many leftist teachers in the past 5 or 8 years
Yeah.
have been trying to tell kids, if your parents have guns, tell us.
Or if your parents don't want you to be trans, tell us and we'll have them taken care of. So literally
many corollaries.
So many corollaries to what the modern left is doing, progressive left, let me call it that. I know we don't talk politics that often here, but let's just be honest here.
And once again, they're telling us exactly what the show's telling us.
Yes.
We are this, but we do the complete opposite behind closed doors.
100%. And they're not even that closed.
No.
To be totally honest, they're not that closed. And they have control of the media.
Yes.
Everybody in the media is on their side. So they cover the lies, even the fact that they killed off a major media person.
Unless it was purposeful by the writers and staff to further that story in that habit of watch what the right hand's doing while the left hand's doing something else.
That's exactly what they're doing. They want you to trust these people and don't trust these people.
Yeah.
And the media covers everything that direction. Even to the fact where they're saying like anybody who's on Homelander's side is the good people. Oh, they even had a very fine people thing last week.
Mm-hmm.
The week before. They had a very fine people on both sides fucking comment.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is always misquoted. Trump didn't technically say what everybody says it did. Anyways, so this go around, you had they're planning. So there's, I guess, it's supposed to be the inauguration.
Yeah, and they're planning
on January 6th.
And Vought's essentially planning a coup.
Vought is planning a coup. Well, rather, Homelander's planning a coup. And they were trying to use their people that they've riled up to cause a riot.
Against
a peaceful protest. I think they even said something like that.
Yeah.
Riot, I mean protest. To act as a distraction while they assassinate the fucking president.
I mean, even going
What
so
the
far
fuck?
as having actors from their side
Yes.
dress up as the opposition and cause havoc from their side.
Yes, that's what they're going to be doing. I mean, that's what the Shapeshifter's doing.
No, that's also what Sage did.
Sage, yeah. Sage dressed up
She
in
showed up as a
clothes.
Starlighter and started a friggin' brawl.
Yeah. So this was Sage's plan all along, but she's a newish character. Sister Sage.
I wonder where she's going now. She gonna flip or she just gonna disappear?
Probably still keep manipulating things.
Or
turn on him entirely behind the scenes.
Or start hanging out with A-Train, making him lobotomizer.
I liked A-Train's story this season.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing a lot of work to fix A-Train's character.
Yeah, he's grown.
He's grown a lot. What happened to Butcher so far this season has been crazy.
Lots of coughing, lots of falling down.
Yes, but we know that he somehow completely killed Ezekiel and ripped into pieces. We don't know how, but we know whatever's inside of him, due to him taking both types of V, caused that. By the way, all of that is 100% in the show, not the comics. Because the way that he kills people is very, very different in the comics. And we may or may not got a reference to that.
I miss the original way they killed people. Like the invisible
blowing
guy.
people up from the inside?
Yeah.
Well,
that was funny.
That should work for most people, if we're honest. Most of the soups should die that way, unfortunately.
Just good douche.
But one thing I liked is that, like, we got to see in this latest episode, I don't care about spoilers at this point, the Deep actually, we got to see him really kind of flexing.
Dude, when he killed his octopus paramour.
I felt bad.
That was kind of
Do you
sad.
know,
That was
well,
sad.
I was about to say, do you know who the octopus was? But you don't know actors, so it doesn't matter.
Her name was Kelly.
Huh?
Well, the octopus named Kelly.
No, there was something else. But no, it was Tilda Swinton was the actress playing the octopus. So they're getting a lot of big like voiceover cameos, which is hilarious. But his whole story, he's been screwing Sage behind the scenes, and apparently so has Black Noir. And he's like, wait, she makes her lobotomize you before you fuck her?
Really?
Wait,
no,
really?
bro.
Bro.
Their whole bro conversation
That was so
cracking
stupid,
me up.
bro. Bro. So either way, that was. So I don't even know where that came from, but yeah. So they send
that fight in the Flatiron. Was insane.
Sending the Deep and Black Noir to take out the boys.
Well, fake Noir.
Well, Noir 2.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo. Which
I didn't know he could fly.
So this is the crazy part. There was at one point they dropped the notion that Noir could fly, but they told him not to because he would upstage Homelander.
Okay.
This is not the original Noir, but somehow he seems to have his powers.
He's still a badass.
Mostly. He's kind of stupid. Well, no, he has narcolepsy.
I didn't expect...
He has narcolepsy.
True, but I still didn't expect... I expected him to get just rolled.
I mean, we didn't know what he could do.
Exactly.
He has the same power set, but he can
he
fly.
took that whole Gatling gun and just owned it.
Just literally
just ate it.
Railed by it. And then flipping back and forth this season is kind of annoying.
He is seeing such a bitch.
So, by the way...
Commit or go.
So, by the way, we talked about in the trailer how he looked weird and skinny.
I thought they just replaced him.
No, it's the same guy.
Okay.
He just shaved. But he also changed his diet in between seasons because he did some like blood tests and see what was good, what was bad. And he said, look, it's like while he's still kind of, fit and muscular, he wasn't in good shape, like physically. So basically between seasons, he lost weight. So
it looks like he dropped like 50 pounds.
He dropped like 40 pounds or so. Still fit, but he doesn't look as...
His head doesn't fit his body right.
No, not anymore. But also the fact that he shaved except for his mustache makes him look weird because like his beard filled out his face so
really
much.
Did.
So I think if they had left the beard, he would look normal and we'd just go, wait a minute, is he a little skinnier? But going back and forth on being in control of the boys, wanting to kick Butcher out, all this other stuff, being a little too high and mighty and then by the book, to turning into, hey, I had a fucking massive anxiety attack or panic attack, nearly died. This is what killed my dad because he was so obsessed with going after Soldier Boy that his dad literally worked himself to death.
Yeah.
And his grandfather was killed by a soup. So he didn't want to be somebody else in his family dying to an obsession with soups.
Yeah.
So,
dude, it was heartbreaking to listen to him tell his wife ex-wife that this is why I can't.
And by the way, that bitch fucking was ready to just roll on the fact that she had left him and married another dude who Homelander killed.
Yeah.
And like, hey, by the way, I'll just come be back with you, no problem. It's like, wow, way to flip flop, bitch.
For real.
It's like you left him because of all this other shit, and now you're going back to him after your other husband dies. So bitches out and then man's up. Very weird flip flop for him. I'm gonna be honest. And also, they've really changed his character. In the comics, he is like a soup as well.
Okay.
He has weird soup powers from...
What, did they just make him like tactically minded?
No, he's got like super strength and stuff. He's kind of like Luke Cage a little bit in the comics, if I recall. But he only gets his powers from drinking his mother's breast milk, which is why he's called Mother's Milk.
Ah!
Yes. And his brother died.
Him and Homelander should have gotten along.
So this is the weird part, is that yes, Homelander has a weird obsession with breast milk. Doesn't do breast milk at all. Very backwards. And he's a germaphobe. The other thing is, with the one major change to his character is his little brother died after getting V because...
What, as a baby?
No, he was a young dude, but he was like special needs. Mm-hmm. And he got V from whatever reason. And when his powers developed, he started growing uncontrollably. And he had his special needs helmet on. And basically his body started to grow rapidly until it crushed his head in his own helmet. Yeah.
Like fast growth? Like,
yes, super fast growth.
Like Tiny Chick from the other series.
Not size. I mean, like he started bulking. Like it wasn't growing, he was growing.
Oh, he'd just get fat.
Yeah. But he was basically his whole body was swelling very, very fast, to the point that his head was crushed by his helmet before he could get it off.
The hemorrhagic hellion. Gotcha.
Basically, yeah. So that was bad for him. So that's why MM hates Soups in that universe compared to this. You know, obviously Stewie and Starlight are similar, but
You mean
very
Huey.
different. What did I say?
Stewie.
I'll say Stewie now. Alternate universe.
Yes.
Stewie. So Huey's thing is different. You know, they've changed a lot, but like kept the idea the same. Like the whole Dakota Bob getting voted in and Vic DeVete being his thing, and but not a soup and all this other shit. So I mean, they've changed quite a lot to fit a modern narrative, but they went a little too far with this whole left versus right.
Oh, they did.
Narrative.
They're leaning into it hard.
They should have stayed out of it, but it also gives people something to latch onto. But it's people like you and me who realize the fact that they are playing the superheroes, specifically the Seven and Homelander, as tyrants who lie about every aspect of their existence to the public, and then do all this horrible, shady shit behind the scenes. That I know that yes, conservative leaders and Congress people and whatever, a lot of them still do shady shit. Not this.
Not that either.
Not that. They don't throw screwdrivers. They might. But they are clearly not. Like, for people to go Homelander as Trump whenever he decided to do this whole DEI initiative to bring in more black people, to the fact that he even went, hey, we're now doing, we're taking our 3 black members of the Seven and doing a whole special thing around that. Is just like, no, he's overcompensating for all these things that he will get him points.
Yes.
Because what they dropped from like early season was that they had points. Every superhero was rated to a degree.
Yeah, they were so on, had a hard on for who was up and who was down in ratings and how it affected their bottom line.
Exactly. They kind of dropped that.
Now they don't give a damn.
Now Homelander really doesn't give a damn. But
especially with his kid just basically abandoning him out.
His kid, he tried to push into being a little mini Homelander that has failed right and left and all that other shit. So, yeah, that's a fucking mess. And then
I wish he would have finished his speech at the puppet show and said what was on his mind instead of just
walking off. Yeah, no, Ryan having that little turn was good. I don't think Butcher is going to die because Butcher is still very important.
Butcher has to die.
No, not this way. He doesn't. Butcher dies in the comics, but not like this.
But no, he has to die.
Yeah, but in this he can't. So whatever's inside of him is going to have to come out.
I'm thinking Butcher dies killing Homelander. That's how he dies. Either that or the
I'm not going to tell you what happens in the comics.
Either that or the VP.
I'm not going to tell you what happens in the comics. So I think,
and then damn, watching Kimiko getting stabbed by that virus.
Yeah, and then chop.
I was freaking out, going, "Oh crap, he's gonna." Oh wait, never mind, it grows back.
Yeah, but sawing her leg off slowly.
He was moving as fast as he could. It just took a minute.
Find a fucking axe and you chop that knee from the opposite side.
Right.
You go for the easy.
Well, they were in a unfamiliar place with tools they didn't know, and they didn't have their shit.
There's a fucking axe. There's always an axe. Go get a machine gun. They have those. Shoot her fucking knee off. Either way.
Well, they were at that warehouse or something with the scientist.
Yeah, who betrayed them.
Yeah.
Very quickly because they realized that the virus he was making was going to be used against the people he loves. Which, of course, that was dropped on us this season. So the father of Victoria Newland's daughter, who's now a Soup, was that. What? Hold on. So she was already a Soup. Mated, got with this guy, had this girl,
then shot her up with a V,
and then shot her up with a V, which means she was not a natural born Soup.
Nope.
Interesting that Soups can.
She's
make
a terrifying Soup.
Yeah, snake mouths.
Yeah, freaking Lady Graboid.
Yeah, killing all the fucking Secret Service members. Yeah, that didn't go very well.
Yeah.
So either way, a lot of Secret Service failures.
Nom.
So on top of that, so now we've got the boys talk out of the way. I'm glad you finally got caught up. Now you need to get caught up on House of the Dragon so we can talk about it.
I'm having such a hard time getting into it. I really, really am.
The first few episodes are difficult.
I watch 10 or 15 minutes at a time, and I'm just bored.
Get over being bored and watch the fucking show.
Yeah,
the dragons are coming. Once the dragons get in there, it's much better.
I hope so, because man, I'm having a hard time.
Sean is the same way. He bitches and complains about slow talking episodes, but you got to have those because
if I wanted to watch a bunch of exposition, I'd watch Kevin Smith films.
No, this is much better than that. But either way, it's hard at the first part of the season 1. I agree. The first couple episodes where they have to kind of speed through the shit gets difficult.
Yeah, I'm right where he's taking a walk with that tiny young girl he's contemplating marrying.
Yeah, that's fucking really strange.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Corlys Valerian's trying to marry his tiny daughter off to the king.
Bond the kingdom, unite the kingdom under the Valerian houses. Sure, whatever, but man, give her a minute. Paint's still wet.
Well, he did say that wouldn't have to do anything until she was
of
age, but still. Yeah, how does that look, marrying a tiny girl, literally 12 years old?
Yeah.
Roughly. But, I mean, things go had he done that, would have gone much better than marrying who he did marry.
No, shut up. Not there yet.
Yes, so, either way, I watched the new episode this morning while Jessica was taking over the TV, so I had to watch it on my phone before going to my chiropractor. So, Season 2 is really pushing the quote-unquote Dance of the Dragons, because that's what we have to do the thing. They're pretty close to the book from what me watching spoiler talk. They're close to the book, but they move events around.
Yeah, I haven't read those yet.
Yeah. There's only
probably
one.
Won't.
There's a book. There's a book.
A book.
A book. Yeah, Fire and Blood.
But I probably won't.
It's called Fire and Blood. You can listen to it. It's on audiobook. Sean has listened to it because he's insane. He's like, they're not even doing this shit like the book. So
that'll make me mad. That'll be the whole Dune thing all over again.
Yeah, don't do that. So, well, I mean, hell, Game of Thrones itself was way
it irritated
off book. It was way off book.
I mean, hell, Game of Thrones ended with Daenerys getting pissed off at everybody, getting on her black dragon, and just disappearing.
And then it didn't go anywhere after that.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the little midget dude was sitting there watching her, and off he goes, and it was kind of him telling the end of the story.
And she escaped Marine, yes. So, but then that wasn't even the end of the story.
Yep.
Still a long way to go. He's never going to finish the books. Fuck him. He needs to just give it to somebody else who will. Either way. So, the last couple episodes, last week specifically, of House of the Dragons was a very big moment. I'm not going to spoil it, but even I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I'll get there
when it was over.
I'll get there in a few weeks.
Yeah. So, I was definitely holy shit last week. This week was the fallout of last week because big thing happened. Fallout from big thing. Semi-big thing happened. Move on. Really big fucking thing happened. Fallout from that thing.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of weirdness going on.
I'll get to them. I picked up a new tablet last week, and I'll download all those onto it.
So the one issue, it's not an issue, but it's a weird thing that's happening. Like, they haven't tapped too much into the magical side of things, and even whenever they did it in original Game of Thrones, they kind of just left some stuff off.
There wasn't a lot of magic in Westeros.
No, because they killed most of the magical things.
There was a useless kid who thought he was a bird.
They killed most of the magical things, if we're honest. But dragons, the presence of dragons tends to bring out more magical things because dragons in and of themselves are magical. Yeah. Because weird, dumb fucking things I find on YouTube, histories of things, dragons were created by breeding wyverns and fireworms to create dragons.
Okay, so you needed legs and wings
and breathing fire.
Yeah.
And breathing fire. So they created them, and then here's the fun part: the reason why the Targaryens are the people who can ride the dragons, and why they have dragon lords and all this other shit. There's some magical shenanigans as to the Targaryens literally breeding with dragons.
Now here's an argument I've heard as a young child when I was into that kind of thing.
Okay, what kind of thing?
The dragons.
Okay, not what I said.
No, but the now in Westeros, the dragons their wings are basically their front legs with their claws.
Yes, they don't have front legs.
Then what's the difference between what makes that a dragon?
Don't get me started on the
compared to the four-legged dragon with the wings from like Dragonheart.
Don't get me started on the differences in different types of dragon-y shaped objects.
It's like a flying Komodo dragon.
What's the fucking difference between the fucking Chinese dragons and the fucking Western dragons and wyverns and worms?
One has a badass mustache and goatee.
No, those are antennas almost. Either way,
or catfish barbels.
Catfish barbel things. So Well, because their dragons came from rivers, it makes sense. They look kind of like catfish. Either way,
Yeah, I guess.
That's China. That's China's thing. The 5 dragons. Either way. So no, the way that the Targaryens bonded themselves with the dragons was with some blood magic and a little bit of sexy time.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Well, you're not going to get there. This is stuff told elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
Elsewhere, way off book. Somewhere in a book somewhere, but not in the show. This is things that I found by scrolling through YouTube. And so occasionally, you get people like Daenerys who are fucking literally fireproof. Can't die from fucking fire.
Yeah.
And commit blood magic to give her baby's birth. Because there are certain rituals you got to do with dragon eggs at certain times to make sure that they hatch. And also at different points in time, I don't know if you recall this or not from Game of Thrones, like season 2. The first baby she tried to have, no, season 1. The first baby she had with Khal Drogo.
I remember that. It was a stillbirth because she had to give the baby's life to save Drogo.
Yes, which she didn't.
Yeah.
And remember what the description of that baby was?
Mm-mm.
Has scales and all this other stuff, and born with a tail and claws.
Oh, cool.
Basically a dragon baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened with Targaryens because they literally are genetically mated at some point with magic with dragons. So that's why it's like people who are stronger with the blood of the dragon in the very literal sense can easily command dragons, even birth them. Other people who are a little bit lighter in the blood, have difficulty, like her brother.
Put that down. You're making noise.
I like stabbing things. So, like her brother, who was fucking useless and all that, he was, probably just a fucking little shitbrick. He wouldn't be able to even hop on a dragon, if we're honest. But the sad part is, like, obviously, you get through Game of Thrones and you see Drogon and the other dragons there, and they get to a reasonable size.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing compared to the size of the dragons that came to Westeros.
Because the only one I saw so far in the 1.5 episodes is the gold dragon.
Yeah, so you saw Syraxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's Rhaenyra's dragon. So he's the first dragon you see in the show. You'll see the bloodworm.
I see what's his name, the tall, skinny, weird looking douchebag, brother to the king.
Yeah, Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him get on a dragon. You just didn't get a good view of it.
So I think in the next
he
episode
took off the Dragonfell, right?
Dragonstone.
Dragonstone.
Just Dragonfell. They're just like Dragonstone and Winterfell. Dragonfell. Now, I don't think. You know what? They're not going to call a place Dragonfell because that would lead to the idea that dragons die. We don't want that idea out there. Dragons are immortal and powerful gods. Well, either way,
of course they are. Then they have blue eyes.
Shit. Purple. You know Targaryens are supposed to have purple eyes, and they just had to abandon that because it was going to be a pain in the dick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're supposed to, like, people from
old contacts out of an easy.
It's not that easy. Either way, because I think in the early seasons with Daenerys, they kind of give her like purplish blue eyes, and then they just let it go.
Yeah.
Because it's such a pain in the ass to edit. I mean, ask the people who did The Witcher, giving what's her face fucking purple eyes.
Blue eyes.
That's much easier to do. That's making the entire eye blue versus literally changing the color of your fucking
just the iris,
the cornea, iris, all that. Yeah. Whatever the colored part is.
Iris.
So the iris is the little part in the middle that goes.
Yeah, you're right. That's a cornea.
Yes. Either way. So, what was I getting at?
I have no idea.
Daenerys, fire, dragon, people. I was getting. Talking about what's his face? You just mentioned.
Tall, skinny douchebag. Yeah.
Daemon. So Daemon. It's hard. It no joke. It takes like 10 episodes to get the name straight. Because some of them are the same names and some of them are very similar names, and there are multiple people with the same name because Targaryens, they want to reuse names. So Daemon, who is, of course, a really, really important character, his dragon you might really like because it's a really fucking unique design.
Really?
Yes. The Caraxes, the bloodworm.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I look forward to seeing it.
Compared to... So this is the funny part. So with Dany's dragons, they all look the same, just different color. Yeah. Even though in the books they didn't look.
The black one looked bigger.
He was bigger because he was free. The other ones were locked up for a while. Remember what's his face put him in the basement of the pyramid? So they were smaller for that
He got
reason.
more food and he had more room to grow.
Literally.
That's exactly how lizards work.
Dragons grow as big as they can until they can't fly no mo. So that's what happened with the biggest dragon on record, which was Balerion the Black Dread. That's one of the things that conquered Westeros.
Then he becomes one hell of a cavalry unit.
Well, yes. Balerion was what created the throne of swords.
Okay.
Literally used his fire to melt all the swords into the throne.
Nice.
So he's the one who melts Harrenhal. Like, you'll see more of Harrenhal in this show because we barely saw anything of it. That was the great castle of Westeros. It was massive. Biggest castle, period. One of the most powerful families. He said, fuck you. If you're not going to bend the knee, we're going to take away your nice things. Literally burned the castle almost to the ground.
Well, I'll get on it tonight. I'll get through what, probably 5 episodes, maybe.
Yeah. So the unfortunate part is we've never seen Balerion alive, but you've seen his head in the basement.
Big.
We've seen his head in the basement of the thing. We do see one of the oldest still living dragons, not too much further away from where you're at, honestly. And I believe she, technically speaking, because dragons are weird, amorphous, asexual things. We don't even know how they breed, technically. And there's no distinct genitalia that I know of on these things. So it's kind of hard to know. We just kind of assign them.
Of course, but I'm sure they have a giant cloaca.
You would think, because they eat and they do poop, technically, but there's nothing that we don't see dragons mate. Eggs just happen.
Yeah, you don't see a dragon dick in the sky. You know?
And yeah, exactly. There's no giant dragon. There's no dragon rolling around with a giant, spiral dick hanging out like a duck or something. So, either way, we do get.
You'd get the windsock effect.
Oh, I know what I was trying. Yeah. So I know what I was trying to get at. So we only saw Dany's dragons, which basically looked identical, but just palette swapped. This show allows us to see the variety of dragons that actually existed back in the day, because you had they were around for long enough. They had different classifications by their horn types, their wing types, all these other kind of things. They're all similarly shaped.
Similar to saying a dog's not just a dog.
Yes, much like dogs. There were different breeds of the same dog, but mostly it is a dog-shaped object when it comes out.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get a Chihuahua, sometimes you get a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
But you may not know, depending on the.
Ooh, look, golden doodle.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. This is a minor spoiler for you because this is a prequel, not technically a spoiler. So we do see some dragon eggs happen because there are dragons about. Dragon eggs happen. And the creators of the show, at least one of the creators of the show, said, in that clutch of eggs you just saw are Dany's eggs from Game of Thrones.
Cool. Okay.
And then 3 days later, somebody went, no, it's not.
Really?
Yes. Somebody else went, no, never mind. We're not tying that to that right now. It's like, so why did you make them literally look like the fucking eggs and then have one guy go, yes, that's them? It's like, fuck you. Let it be that way.
Right.
It's like, you set it up to
they were there and unhatched for generations.
At least 100 years.
Yeah.
So they actually said they didn't know how long they had been around. But we know that, like, because we get a list of the current available dragons at one point. Somebody literally says, hey, we got these, these dragons by name. We get to see one of the coolest dragons very briefly at the end of the season. You'll get there someday. I mean, the only thing you see is, like, his mouth and a tiny bit of his snoot.
Oh, trust me. You'll be getting random texts going, so bored.
Yeah, I don't care. I already get that from Sean. Fuck you. Watch it. Fuck you. Keep watching. That's the point. So, like, you get to see very briefly one of the coolest dragons that obviously we'll have to see more of later. And, like, I want to see how big this motherfucker is.
Now, how many episodes are in each season? Or season 1?
It fucking changes. Who knows?
Okay.
8 to 10, give or take.
The
Magic Max box.
I'll possibly be caught up by next time.
The Magic Max box will tell you how many fucking episodes you got to do. Because we're on episode 5 right now of season 2.
Okay.
So in theory, there's 8. It did feel like a penultimate episode, so maybe it is only 6. Because Game of Thrones seasons kept changing. Like they kept changing depending on production schedule and money. So they went from like 10 episodes to 8 episodes to 6 episodes. So it's like now that they got more money and more interest again, maybe they're back to up doing 8. I don't remember, to be totally honest. But either way, I'm still enjoying it. I know that some people who get bored very easily get tired of the ones where they're talking. But hello, talking is what happens between the fire and the swords.
Right, I get that, but sometimes especially sitting there doing what I do, I need something to keep me engaged in.
Well, the thing is that you have to have the relationships explained via talking and or seeing the thing on screen.
Oh, really?
What?
You have to have them explained?
Well, I'm saying like they have to talk.
What, are we stupid?
Yes, people are fucking dumb. Sometimes you have to be like, oh, well, also when you have a cast this large, sometimes you have to be reminded who is who. Be like, oh yeah, this is this person's dad.
Yeah,
That's
there's
that
10.
person's cousin.
I'll be caught up this week.
Okay, good. I couldn't remember. Good, they went back up to 10. So hopefully, okay, so that means we got 5 more in this season. Holy fuck, they're gonna do a lot. Because So here's the thing. There's a lot of really bad shit that happens. This is a war between a family of dragon riders.
You want to put a pin in it and dive into it next week?
We'll get done. But I'm just saying, people are bored right now. Big shit is coming. Really big shit is coming. Like world-shaping fucking big shit is coming. Fucking wait a minute. It's like, watch the slow ones or else you're going to be like, well, who the fuck is that guy?
Right.
Well, if you had watched the slow one, you'd fucking know.
Oh, speaking of bored, I tried watching that newest Hellboy movie.
Oh, God, it was terrible.
I got 15 minutes in and turned it off.
It was terrible.
So this is awful.
That movie was awful. And they're making another one, but not in that vein. Someone's
rebooting it.
They're rebooting Hellboy. I just saw it the other day. I was like,
so it's going to be John Cena or Batista.
No. They already got the guy. They've already shown him in the suit. That's how I saw it. He actually looks good. I'm not gonna be long.
I know Ron Perlman was a great Hellboy.
By the way, we forgot to talk about all the fucking celebrity deaths this weekend.
I haven't paid attention.
Well, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, but
okay, so
still doesn't mean I care.
Yeah, so Dr. Ruth, famous sexologist.
Okay.
Basically, radio doctor who'd call in about your sex problems.
Kind of like Dr. Drew.
Yes, but way earlier. She was 96. Looked like a fucking gremlin by the time she died, just to be fair.
Hell, 96, Dr. Drew and
Dr.
Adam
Drew is
Carolla.
nearly 60.
Well, Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla were doing Loveline at that time.
Yes, so basically, if Dr. Ruth didn't do her thing, Loveline wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
So, RIP to the great one, as it was. She's probably more important than any of the fucking people in Congress that died of old age not long ago. A former Texans football player passed away at 40. Said he died peacefully. I was like, from what? He's fucking 40 and a football player.
Some people do, man.
I was like, and I forgot his name. Unfortunately, I will put it up on the thing.
There's a YouTuber I like. He does camping videos.
Yeah.
And his wife 2 years ago passed away in her sleep.
Yeah.
Same thing. He went to sleep with his wife, woke up with her gone.
Huh. I wonder if there was a little bit of a done before that.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. So, Shannon Doherty from 90210 and Charmed and a couple other TV shows.
Really?
Yeah, she died of cancer. She's had cancer since 2015.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, literally yesterday. So, Trump got shot, Shannon Doherty died. That's how the 15 minutes went. Trump shot, Shannon Doherty died. I was like, wait a minute,
before that, the Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons was the other one I was getting to. So, Richard Simmons died before Trump, Shannon Doherty died immediately after Trump. It's about the same time.
Lordy.
So, the same time they were like, hey, Shannon Doherty died. I'm like, Trump got shot. I was like, wait. What the fuck is happening today? Like Friday and Saturday, it was like Richard Simmons died. And, this morning they talked about it on the news.
Well, you can't be surprised, though, that a lot of our old favorite actors that we grew up with are dying because we grew up with them acting. They're old now. I hope they left a good life. I hope they're squared away with the Lord, and I hope they're good to go. But people expire. People wear out.
Give me a second.
And it's to be expected. You can't be surprised when your grandmother, 98, passes away.
And Richard Simmons, given that he was basically held hostage for several years by his housekeeper, probably already had weird health problems. And Jessica didn't even know about that. I'm like, that was big news because people were literally like, where the fuck is Richard Simmons? So like even some of his family went to his house. He answered the door doing that sketchy like half door open thing. Like, no, we're fine. It's okay. It's good. No, we're good. And then it come to find out he had literally been held hostage by his fucking housekeeper for like, I don't know how long, but way longer than you should be held hostage by your housekeeper. I'm not joking.
What did he die from?
I don't know. I didn't look. I just knew he died.
Well, that's more craziness coming out in the news.
More sickness. I don't know. Cancer. I completely don't know what Richard Simmons died of. Sorry, I'm still stuck on the Nicole
Richard
Brown
Simpson.
Smith. Nicole Brown Smith living for 10 more years, we'd have less Kardashians. That would be the way to go. Either way, there was one other person who died, and I can't remember because it was 5 people in like 2 days. But the Texans football player was a big one just because that's a local situation. And he was so young, and it was like, okay, he just died. Great. Why? Bring that back. Also, I forgot to mention on the Trump news, there was some very important news that dropped overnight. They basically dismissed the whole thing. One of his major cases against him was dismissed by a judge because they said, yeah, they appointed Jack Smith completely unconstitutionally. It's like, we have an entire thing about how you appoint people to doing these jobs. You guys completely ran that.
It was Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. Yes, she was the first one that died. She died before Richard Simmons. Yes, that's correct. Because I saw some very funky headlines. I was like, can you rewrite that so it makes more sense? That headline makes no fucking sense. Saw that on Twitter first. That's right, Shelley Duvall. Thank you. So, I mean, 4 legends and then at least a local legend. And then Donald Trump nearly gets killed. So what the hell is going on with just this particular week? And you know, there's probably smaller people who died and we don't even know. We'll find out later. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, they died too. So yeah, Shelley Duvall from The Shining and a whole bunch of other things. Big time actress back in the day. Very known for being kind of like supermodel thin, but still like good looking. So, you know, R.I.P. to all of those people.
Yes.
Yes, rest in pieces to all those people. Nope, I said that wrong. That was not a joke. I legit fucked that up.
Rest in pieces?
Yeah, I fucked that up. That was my bad.
That's what you told your Legos when you put them up.
No. By the way, speaking of things that have to be put up, something, I don't know if it was just the going in and out constantly from the back door. Wow, that out of context.
Squirrel.
And moving stuff around, a whole bunch of fucking Power Rangers fell off the shelf this weekend.
They're always falling down.
No. They were on the floor falling down, like not just knocked over on the shelf.
Got 2 drunk bastards right there.
You did that, so you can't say shit. But I reset a bunch of them. So you see right up here on the second shelf?
Then you got 2 of them getting it on.
Yeah, you did that. Anyway, look up north here on the green guy right there. See him on the second shelf, green guy?
Yes.
He was on the floor. Blue guy next to him was on the floor. And the thing behind him was on the floor. I was like, what the fuck happened?
The big thing behind him?
Yeah.
Huh.
So how the fuck did all that fall over? I was like, look, if I swear to God, if we have fucking rats in here like we had at our old place somehow and they're knocking shit off my shelves again, I'm going to be pretty pissed.
Burn it down.
Because that's what happened at our old place. That's how we first discovered we had rats. I had stuff knocked off the shelves.
Oh, good grief.
So, yeah. Either way, that's good enough. We've gone way longer than we thought.
You need to start working on other stuff.
I need to make dinner soon. So, either way, I mean, look, we kind of almost went 2 weeks. Well, actually, we went an entire week without an episode.
Yeah.
Because we recorded Saturday, skipped Monday, well, hurricane, and then had to get around for this week. So it's all good. So episode 101, that's going to be that. Guys, if you listened to the episode 100 and you have any responses to those questions for yourself, please, by all means.
Yeah, let us know, man. We had a good time making it. I hope you have fun listening to it, man.
I really want people to start writing in more and messaging more. Like, we need more input from you guys from the outside. Sean gives us a question, which is fine, and actually kind of set the show up today because we were already going to talk about it. But is y'all's input and y'all's feedback and y'all's interactivity with the show, we do need y'all to talk to us, whether that's answering questions I ask in the show to you, or say when episode 100 drops and there's chunks of questions and you'd like to answer that, by all means, that'd be cool. So either way, let's go with, I don't know, what's your favorite thing from one of the celebrities that died? Whether it's a Shannon Doherty thing.
My favorite celebrity.
Out of the ones that died, your favorite thing from them. So like The Shining for Shelley Duvall. Season 2 of fucking 90210 for
Charmed was
Doherty.
pretty good.
Charmed was pretty good, and I found out why she left the show. Apparently, she was fired from the show because of background drama that was going on with Alyssa Milano, and it had really nothing to do with Shannon, but they just said, fuck it, you're gone, we're bringing in Rose McGowan. Don't even know. She basically got fired from, and I could have that wrong, but either way. So, if there's anything like that, what's your favorite Dr. Ruth advice? Sex advice from Dr. Ruth. Either way. So, I need to go to the bathroom, so we're going to wrap this episode.
Okay.
So, either way, guys, do all the like and subscribe stuff. Send in messages wherever you want to. And, of course, NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. And then we will see you guys next week. And, of course, on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Thanks.
and with that.
Okay.
Okay, bye. I keep forgetting I didn't have a stop button. I didn't have a stop button.